now, did you get it on the 16th of June 2020 or before then?
Lo cingo okhuluma ngalo ke owalithola ke uthi walithola ngazo i16 zika June noma ngaphambilini kwalokho.
ngithole ngemuva kwe-16 June, i-16 June singaphambili.
Okay, it was after the 16th of June.
Okay, then proceed.
Sungaqhubeka ke.
Mangifonela lo muntu oyangifonela angitshela ukuthi uyiphoyisa laseGoli, ngathi mina mawuyiphoyisa laseGoli ngicela uchintshe private number ufanele ngenamba yakhe e-office ukuze ngizobona ukuthi serious yile leli office i-office yaseGoli iphoyisa lo ngitshela lo.
Then this person introduced himself or herself as being a police officer from Gauteng. I then said, if that is the case, then change the private number into a landline so I'll be able to see and confirm that indeed you are a police officer.
Proceed.
Yeah, bese ke engifonela ngenamba angisazi wayethi 011 angisakhumbule kahle.
Then this person contacted me with
ayibhalile ukuthi Johannesburg la.
With a 011 number, but it was written Johannesburg.
Angibuza ukuthi ngisawufuna lo msebenzi, impendulo yami ngithi nomsebenzi okanjani lo ngoba mina ngiyasebenza.
This person then wanted to know from me, are you still looking for a job or interested in a job? I then inquired what kind of a job because I am employed.
Can I briefly stop you, Mr. Ntanzi? The person that phoned you, was it a male person or a female person?
Sikhuluma la ngomuntu wesilisa noma umuntu wesifazane lo wakufonela?
Sikhuluma ngomuntu omama.
A female person.
Proceed.
Bese ke mina ngimbuza igama lakhe uthobani. Aqala nje angafuna ukungitshela igama lakhe, ngimtshele ukuthi mina ngizokhuluma nami angangitshela igama lakho.
I then wanted to know from this person, who are you? Or tell me your name. She didn't want to inform me. I then said to her that I won't speak to you if you don't want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, bese ke egcina ngitshela igama lakhe. Igama lakhe wayebiza ke ngoma mfundisi.
She ended up introducing herself, and she referred to herself as being Mamfundisi.
Proceed.
Emveni kwalokho ke bese ke esho ukuthi cha kahle kahle kunecala ngifonela lona.
Thereafter, she then said to me that there was a particular matter or case that she was looking me for.
Yeah, bese ke ngimbuza futhi mina. Uthi mawuthi ngifunela icala, uyamazi lo muntu omfonelayo lo kahle kahle, noma ushawa wrong number.
I then asked her, if you are then saying that you are looking for me with regards to a particular matter, do you know the person that you are calling, or is it just a wrong number that you dialed?
Proceed.
Bese ke engitshela ukuthi kahle kahle ucela nje ukungitshela straight iqiniso ungifunela icala leka Senzo.
She then proceeded by saying that let me be honest with you, and said to me that I'm looking for you with regards to Senzo's matter.
Let me stop you again, Mr. Ntanzi. That telephone call I asked you previously, was it before the incident of the 16th of June 2020, or was it after?
Lo cingo lo bengikubuzileke lo mbuzo lona ngaphambilini ke ukuthi kwenzeka lokho ngaphambi kwazo i16 noma kusemuva kwe16.
I16 zazingakafika ngathi ungifonela before ngizoya kwi16 mina ngisuka ekhaya.
So usho ukuthi ukufonela izingakashayi i16?
Zingakashayi.
It was before the 16.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that point. Then what happened next?
Kwase kwenzekani ke emva kwalokho?
Wase ngibuza ukuthi ngikuphi nendawo eRustenburg.
She then wanted to know from me where precisely I was in Rustenburg.
Ngamtshela ke mina ngihlala eFreedom Park.
I informed her that I was staying in Freedom Park,
Phase 2.
Phase 2.
And what happened after that call?
Emva kwalelo cingo ke kwase kwenzekani?
Ngahlala nje, ngayihlalela.
I just
ngangilinde kuya ku medical kahle kahle ngoba ngangibuye emalangeni la eCorona.
Okay, I just sat around there or sat there because I was expecting to go to medicals because I was just coming from, it refers to it as being Corona days. Uma uthe emalangeni kahle kahle uthi wabuya kuphi? Uma uthi wabuya emalangeni eCorona?
Angathi sikade sivaliwe
emsebenzini. Yeah, oh okay.
Kuthiwa
Okay. It was just after we had been requested not to come to work because of COVID.
Now I want to take you and direct your attention to the events of the 16th of June 2020. Do you recall the incidents that happened on that day.
Ngizokuthatha ke manje ngikuse kulona ke leli langa lange 16 zika June 2020. Uyakhumbula okwenzeka ngaleli langa lange 16 zika June?
Yebo.
Yes.
What happened?
Kwenzekani?
Ngangilele endlini kwanokha abantu abayi2.
I was sleeping at home and two people knocked,
Obhuti nje abayi2.
two gentlemen.
Let's clarify this. When you say you were sleeping at home, where is home?
Uma uthi ke walele endlini kuphi endlini?
Ngangilele lapha engirenta khona eRustenburg.
Where I was
Freedom Park phase 2.
renting in Rustenburg, Freedom Park in phase 2.
Do you know the address of that residence where you stayed in
Ikheli
June
la
2020?
ikheli la khona lapho uyalazi?
Angisakhumbula masenginesikhathi.
I can't remember it, it's been a while.
Then what happened as the two males knocked at your residence?
Uma ke laba bhuti laba babili ke benqonqoza ke kwasekwenzekani?
Ngisukumile ngavula emnyango.
I stood up and I opened the door.
Then what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Mabe ngena endlini kwangena obhuti abayi2.
Yebo.
Bangibingelela ngavula.
Two gentlemen came in up when I opened. They greeted and I responded.
Proceed.
Omunye wasethi hayi sifuna wena Siyanda.
And then one of them said, "We are looking for you, Siyanda."
Bese ngimbuza ke mina ngithi why ungibiza ngoSiyanda mina ngisuka Siyanda mina.
I then asked this gentleman, "Why are you referring to me as Siyanda? Because I am not Siyanda."
Let me stop you for clarity. The two gentlemen that knock at your door, you open for them and they say, "We are looking for you." Did they identify themselves to you?
Laba babili ke abanqonqoza wabavule wasukuma wabavulela bangena babingelela ingaba bazethula yini noma basho ukuthi bawobani kuwena?
Bazethule kimi sesiphandle la ngoba bathi bacela ukukhuluma nami phandle.
They introduced themselves when we were outside because they requested me that we have a chat outside.
And outside, we'll come back to in the house. Outside, who did they introduce themselves as?
Uma bezethula ke bathi bangobani?
Bathi bangamaphoyisa abayinjeyanga igama street lakhe wathi uyiphoyisa.
They introduced themselves as police officers. He did not tell me his name, but just said he's a police officer.
And now, one of them says, "We are looking for you." What's the name that he said? Siyanda.
But Siyanda, what is Siyanda ngithi? Yes.
And
Yeah.
because your name is not Siyanda, what was your response?
Nanjengoba ke
That.
kamala usho ukuthi ngoba angisiyana uSiyanda. Why wathini ke wena uma ethi wena kuwena Siyanda? Wathini wena uma uphendula?
Ngamtshela ngathi mina ngiseyo Siyanda. Ubani omtshela ukuthi ngosiyanda wathi yena ngilethe ID ufuna ukuconfirma ngeID.
I informed him that I am not Siyanda. Who told you that I am Siyanda? Then he requested me to bring my identity document as confirmation.
Proceed.
Ngase ngithi nami ukuze ngikunike iID le ngicela ukubona na uthi uyiphoyisa ungikhiphele lokho zakho uthi uyiphoyisa ngizobona.
I also made a request that now that seeing that now you are requesting my ID as confirmation, give me your confirmation as well so that I can see that you are indeed a police officer.
And did that gentleman produce his
Wakwenza-
appointment card, or
Sorry.
both of them produced identification cards?
Uma usumcela ukuthi akuboniseke wakwenza lokho yena.
Wakwenza yedwa lo wena nomzimba.
Yes, the
Ongangikhombisanga lo omunye nomzimba lo okahle nje.
the one that was well built did produce it, but the other one who was just with the different build to the other one did not do it.
And then how did you know him as once he produced that appointment card?
Uthe uma sekutshengisa ke ikhadi lakhe ke lokuthi uyiphoyisa ke wabona ukuthi ubani. Or noma
Or did he
wathola
tell
ukuthi
you his
ubani
name
noma
once
wakutshela
he
igama
produced the
lakhe.
identification card?
Wagcina yena ekhuluma yena ukuthi ngoba la gama libhale lapha lenihlolo kulifunda.
He ended up telling me who his name was because it was
Ngabona
difficult.
la nekhanda wasengitshela yena ukuthi ubani.
Because it was difficult for me to read the name that was written there. I could see just the head or the face, but he then told me who he was.
What did he tell you his name was?
Wathi kuubani?
Wathi usayitshela Mkhale.
Sergeant Mukhane.
Okay, then proceed with what transpired.
Lo munye lo wabe sengitshela ngumkhana ukuthi hayi lo Sergeant Mabena.
I was then informed by Sergeant Mukhane that my colleague here is Sergeant Mabena.
Proceed then, what transpired?
Emveni ngalokho ke basebethi iphi iphone.
Thereafter, they then wanted to,
Abanika ke iphone yami i2.
they wanted to know where my phone was. I gave them my phone, I2.
And the phones that you gave them, do you still remember the models of those phones?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry. I said, I thought maybe the witness was referring to a brand, but he was saying that I gave them 2 of my phones.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you recall the models of those phones that you handed over to the 2 police officers?
Lama phone amabili owabanikeza wona ke ingabe uyawakhumbula yini amagama awo ukuthi kwakuyimaphi iwaphi ama phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
What were they?
Always Samsung J5.
Samsung J5.
And the other one?
Lenenye lencane ngayo kwakungiyasisi ngoba ngangoyifakela iscreen ngalo my headsets amafoni amancane ngayo.
The other one was a small phone. It was my sister's phone because I was going to have it to have a screen put on that phone. A small one of those small phones. I'm not sure whether it's a Hisense.
And what did the officer that you handed the phone to do with those phones?
Lona ke owamnikeza amafoni wase enzani ke ngalawo amafoni owamnikeza wona?
Ngamnika wawabuka wawaphatha wase yena khipha ifoni yakhe ekhwethini efonela lo muntu amfonela ngabona futhi sekuringa ifoni yami asikhathi ke sethi ke hamba ogqoka ndoda sifona wena samba nawe.
Looked at the phones, took out his phone, made a call, and then a call came through my phone. That's when he then said to me, go and get dressed. We are looking for you.
And roughly what time did these police officers arrive at your place?
Nkathi befika la uhlala khona kwakubani isikhathi?
Kwakusebusuku ngoba phela ilanga belishosha lishona ngalezo nsuku lesikhathi angisasikhumbuli ngoba kwakusebusika kubanda.
It was at night, and I'm not saying about the time because it was sunset was very early during those times because it was during the winter.
And at the time the police officers came to your residence, were you by yourself or in the company of somebody else?
Nkathi amaphoyisa efika lapha kwakho kwakuwena nje uwedwa noma ukhona umuntu owawunaye?
Ukhona umuntu angina.
I was in the company of someone else.
And who was that person?
Kwakubani? Lebuhile.
Phethane isibongo sakhe.
His surname is Phethane.
And what was the nature of your relationship with that person?
Nanhlanganiswa yini noLebuhile?
Sasithandana.
We were in a love relationship.
Now proceed from where you say they told you, the police officers told you to dress up because they were looking for you. What then transpired after that?
Ushilo ukuthi basebethi ke noma ethi omunye ke hamba ogqoka sifuna wena kwase kwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho?
Ngihambile ngayogqoka mangibuya ngagqoka nje impahla zami nejacket mangibuya base bengifasa ngama handcuff ngifasa usayitsheni lo ethenga umkhana.
I then went to get dressed, came back, just wore my clothes as well as a jacket. When I came back, I was handcuffed by Sergeant Mukhane.
Mangilokhu ke ngibabuza mina ukuthi okokuqala nengibiza ngegama ongesilonela ngiphinde ngithatha ifoni athi ifoni yami lo nto le ibizwa ngokuthiwa yini lona komunye lo wasethi ngababuza amasimba ngathi mina ngikuza ukuthi uthini wase ngishaya ngempama lo omzimba omncane.
I kept on asking as to how is it or what is it that's happening. Firstly, you referred to me by an incorrect name, took my phones, answered my phone, and so what is it? And then the other one, that is now the one that is referred to as Mabena, then said to me that I should not ask them nonsense, but that's not the word the witness used. I think everyone heard the word. And he then smacked me.
Somewhere else they didn't hear the word in the SCA, for instance.
My lord?
I said the SCA, they didn't hear the word.
Okay. Said don't ask me shit.
Yes.
And where did he slap you, Mabena?
Wakshaya kuphi Mabena?
Wangishaya ngebanga ngoba izandla zayifaswe so.
The witness is pointing to his left side of his face and indicating he hit me here because my hands were tied like this, referring, showing to the back, to his back.
And after that, what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani emuva kwalokho?
Ngangena ke emotweni Fortuna lebehamba ngayo emhlophe.
I got into the vehicle that they were traveling in, a white Fortuner.
Where in that Fortuna did the policeman place you?
Bakuhlalisa kuphi nendawo kuleyo Fortuner leyo?
Ngangena ngasemveni kwakho uMabhena nkosenkantolo.
As I came in, I sat behind Mabena.
And that motor vehicle, was it a marked police vehicle or a plain unmarked police vehicle?
Kwakuyimoto ebhaliwe yini oyibonayo ukuthi imoto yamaphoyisa noma yayingabhaliwe?
Ayengabhale ukuthi imoto ngabona ngo blue light sengingaphakathi.
It was unmarked. I only noticed the blue light when I was inside the vehicle.
Now, before you got into the car, did those police officers, Mohani and Mabena, whilst you were still at your residence, either inside the house or outside the house, did they confront you with some sort of evidence about what they were looking for you for?
Nkathi ke nise lapha yana ningekayongena emotweni noma naningaphandle endlini noma niphakathi ke kukhona yini ubufakazi abathi naku esinako ngakuwena ke ingakho sikufuna nje ngoba sinalokho ngakuwena khona ubufakazi ababethi banabo ingakho bekufuna nje?
Wangikhombisa isithombe nkosenkantolo.
Pointed out a picture or a photo to me.
Was it a physical photo or was that photo shown to you from a device?
Isithombe lesi ukubonisa isithombe mhlambe usibonisa sisephepheni noma ukubonisa isithombe sise efonini?
Sasisefonini.
From a device, a phone.
And can you describe the photo that was displayed to you?
Ungasichaza lesithombe lesi owasitshengisa? Ungasisho? Ukuthi kusichaza ukuthi kwakuyisithombe sikanjani?
Lapha enkantolo angasibona.
I haven't, sorry, qhubeka.
Angasibona lapha enkantolo esengangisikhombisa ngomhana.
The one that was pointed out to me by Mohane, I haven't yet seen it here in court.
Describe that photograph.
Awusichaze.
Kwaumuntu wayegqoke iskipa somkhono emide.
It was a person that was wearing a long sleeve shirt or t-shirt.
Ngoba kwakuzithombe ezide wayegqoka iskipa eside engaveli ngapha singezansi.
Ngoba kwakuyithombe ingake?
Kwakuzithombe entathu.
Because there were 3 pictures. You could see that this person is wearing a long sleeve t-shirt, but you could not see the bottom part. Yebo?
Iskipa nje ngathi lesikipa zama dice lezi engalentole lapha esifubeni.
This is what you would refer to in the township, refers to as being the dice, but it has the diamond shape.
And the third photo?
Esesithathu?
Esinye sasingavezi ubuso bonke. Sasiveza amazinyo kuphela.
The other picture did not portray the whole face. It was only the teeth that one could see, but not the entire face.
Thanks, Milo.
Yes.
Just to track back a bit, when the police officer said to you, now dress up, we are looking for you, did they tell you the case or anything that they were looking for you for?
Uma bethi ke hamba ogqoka sifuna wena bakutshela yini ngecala noma yini kahle kahle le ababekufunela yona?
Wayeseshilo ke umuntu ngifunela ecala lasenzo.
He had already said to me or indicated to me that they were looking for me with regard to Senzo's matter.
Now, Constable Mohani has testified in this court, and he testified that when he arrested you on the 16th of June 2020, he specifically told you that they were arresting you on Nongoma Case 186 of 10 of 2018. I'm sorry, it's 163 of 10 2020, the Nongoma case, it's a murder case. Did he tell you that?
Usergeant Mohani nkathi ethula ubufakazi bakhe la enkantolo abakusho ke kule nkantolo ukuthi washo kuwena ukuthi ukubophela icala u163 ka10 2020 icala lakwaNongoma.
Ayi, nkosenkantolo kongiqala ukuzwa ngaye mayefika la.
I heard that for the very first time from him when he arrived here, my lord.
Now, when the 2 officers arrived at your place and they've now identified themselves as police officers and now they are going to arrest you for a particular murder case, did they warn you of your constitutional rights.
Manje ke kunalama phoyisa amabili angenile futhi ke manje sebeyakubopha ke ingaba bachazela yini noma bakwexwayisa yini ngamalungelo onawo ngokomthetho sisekelo.
Angikhumbuli.
I can't recall.
For example, did Mabena or Mohani advise you that you've got the right to remain silent?
Uma Bhena noba Mokhane basho yini kuwena ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi uthule ungasho lutho?
Inkosi enkantolo angikhumbuli ngoba umkhane mina sasingezwani ngelanguage la ekhuluma. Umuntu angangicishe ngimuzwe kancane lo munye lo ngoba wagcina ngitshela emveni kwesikhathi ukuthi ungumndebele. Angisizwe ilanguage ekhuluma ukuthi iyahambiselana nesiZulu.
My Lord, I do not remember because there was this language barrier between myself and Mokhane. We couldn't understand each other. The person that I could at least, not completely, my Lord, understand was the other person because he ended up telling me that he was Ndebele, which was a bit closer to isiZulu.
Yeah, but let's continue regarding the rights specifically. Did he also warn you that you've got a right not to say anything to them and yes,
this witness, your witness, twice, he says, I can't remember.
That's fine.
I
That's
can't
fine.
remember.
All right. And you've testified now that for the first time you hear that you were wanted on an Ngoma case was here in court when Mohani testified, correct?
Usushilo ke ukuthi inkathi kuzokuqala ke mayelana necala lakho noNgoma ukuzwela enkantolo nkathi uMokhane ethula ubufakazi.
Yebo inkosi enkantolo.
That's correct, my Lord.
Now, as they take you, the police officers, did they tell Kilebogile, your partner, where were they taking you?
Nkathi bekuthatha ke behamba nawe basho yini kuLebuhile ukuthi bakusa kuphi?
Akaze bamtshene nix.
They never told her anything.
Did they leave their contacts so that she can then phone and know your whereabouts?
Ingabe bashiya yini amanamba abo ukuze ukuthi ke abafonele uma azi ukuthi ukuphi nendawo?
Cha, akaze bawashiya amanamba.
No, they never left their contacts.
Now, I want to proceed, you to proceed from the stage when you were placed in a car. Where were you taken?
Ngifuna ke manje uqhubekeke kusuka kulesikhathi ke ufakwa ke manje emotweni noma ke ungena emotweni bakuthatha bakusa kuphi?
Bangithatha ngangena emotweni sahamba saye e-Pro station le yasePhukeng.
From there we proceeded to the Phukeng police station.
Why
Kodwa
was it-
masamba lapha endleleni
Sorry,
wayelokho
let me
ngibuza
cut you.
uMabhene imibuzo.
Let me cut you, sorry for that. Why was it necessary for them to take you to Booking SAPS?
Kwakuyini kwakungani bekusa noma behamba nawe beya nawe epolice station yasePhukeng?
Babehamba namaphoyisa lana khona kodwa wena wangenanga lapha endlini nami nasejardini aye nje emgwaqeni la.
They were in the company of police officers, but those police officers did not get into the premises where I was staying. They were just standing on the road.
And those police officers, were they, do you know the station where they emanated from?
Lawo maphoyisa lawo ngabe uyazi yini ukuthi babebuya kwesiphi station ngamagama ukuthi babesebenzela kuphi?
Ngabona imoto ebhala umbhalo khona ePhukeng.
I saw vehicles that were written Phukeng
Ngoba na imoto mayisuka eFreedom Park zaya straight khona.
because even when the cars left Freedom Park, they went straight there.
So let's clarify this. On the 16th of June 2020, the cars that arrived at your place was the Toyota Fortuner and there were other marked cars from Booking SAPS, correct?
Asichaze nje lokucaceke noma kuzwakaleke ukuthi uthi imoto ezazikhona lapha yana kwakho noma lapho ohlala khona kwakuyile Fortuner kanye nezinye imoto ezayibhaliwe owabona ukuthi zibhalwe Phukeng.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you are in the motor vehicle being transported and you were about to explain where you were transported, but first this one. How were you handcuffed then in that car?
Emotweni ke manje phakathi ke wawufaswe kanjani?
Ngihleli so izifaswe ngemuva izandla.
I was seated like this, the witness his hands being at the back. My hands were behind me.
You can proceed from then.
Usungaqhubeka ke.
Sihambile ke saze safika masamba lapha ngemoto endleleni uMabhene lokho engibuza ukuthi ngangekuphi kushona uSenzo.
We proceeded, but as we were traveling, Mabena kept on asking me where I was when Senzo passed on.
What was your response?
Wathini umuphendula?
Ngithi mina angikuzi ukuthi uthini. Lento ngibuza ngoba okokuqala usungishayela ngithi usangibini osangibuzayo ngoba phela uthi uzongibopha ngithi uza nento wena ozana uthi uzongibopha. So anginayo impendulo ngoba ngeke ngikhumbule ukuthi ngangi.
Wenza lento ubuyicela ukuthi ungayenzi ne? Yeah. Okay. Asiqale phansi uthini?
Ngithi mina ngamphendula Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi angeke ngikwazi ukuphendula.
I then responded to him by saying,
Ngoba-
I won't be able to answer you because
Ngoba usungibeka isandla.
you have already assaulted me.
Okunye uze lapha ke umuntu uzongibopha ngibophela ecala malo uyaphinda ungibuza imibuzo futhi.
And secondly, you came to me and said to me that you are here to arrest me for a matter, but still you are asking me questions.
Athuleke bese sihambe sesingene khona ephukeni phakathi e-police station.
He then kept quiet and then we drove into the police station in Pukeng.
What specifically happened at Pukeng, SAPS?
Khona-ke lapho ePhukeng le kwenzekani yini eyenzeka e-police station lasePhukeng?
Ngahlala emotweni naye lo Mabena umkhani waphuma wangena ngaphakathi yena.
I remained in the vehicle with Mabena and Mukhane went inside.
Proceed further.
Qhubeka.
Emveni ngalokho ke ngabona esedumisa reverse imoto esiphuma hamba.
Thereafter, I then saw him then switching the ignition on and then the vehicle left.
Proceed further.
Qhubeka.
Yeza ke imoto yaze yafika lapho engazi khona le police station la angangayazi.
Mawuthi la kuphi?
La ePitoli.
Okay. The vehicle then proceeded to this unknown police station here in Pretoria.
And later on, during the course of your incarceration, did you learn the name of that police station?
Kamuva ke sewulapho ke kule police station ngabe wase ulazi ke igama lalo police station le?
Cha ngilazi emveni kwesikhathi Nkosi enkantolo.
It was only after a while that I got to know about it.
And what was the name of the police station?
La kwakuyini igama layo? Le police station?
Emveni kwesikhathi.
Musuyazi wathola ukuthi yini igama layo police station le?
Pretoria Mode.
Pretoria Mort.
No, not on Mode angazi mshola.
Moot, M-O-O-T.
Okay.
A moat in English, M-O-A-T.
If I may clarify, evidence has been led in this court by Mohane, Mohola, and others that on the 16th of June 2020, you were booked at Pretoria North SAPS. Would you recall that?
Sekunobufakazi ke obethulweke kule nkantolo ke Mukhane kanye nabanye ukuthi ngazo i16 zika June lezo 2020 ipolice station abayokufaka kuyona ke noma bayokubhuka kuyona ke kwakuyi Pretoria North.
Would you agree with that? That's the police station that you were booked at. You
Ungavuma.
wouldn't dispute that.
Ngavuma noma ungaphikisa lokho. Bona bathi Pretoria North.
I-police station ngangakayazi kwami.
I wouldn't dispute.
Igama lakhona.
I wouldn't dispute it because I myself I didn't know the name of the police station.
Now, let's go to the events of the 17th of June 2020 at Pretoria North Police Station, where you woke up on the morning of the 17th. Do you recall that date?
Asindluleke manje siye kwilanga elilandelayo ke lazo 17 zika June 2020 ila owavuka ke manje uvuka kuleyo police station leyo uyalikhumbula lelo langa lelo?
Yeah, what was the 17?
Yes, it was the 17th.
Could you explain to the court what transpired on that date?
Ngayichazela ke inkantolo ukuthi kwenzekani ngalelo langa.
Yebo, Nkosi enkantolo nge-17 kwaqala kwafika umuntu oyiwana ephethe camera ehamba nomkhana.
My lord, there was a person that arrived. That person was in possession of a camera and accompanied by Mukhane.
Proceed.
Yebo.
Umkhana nguye wangivulela eseleni phakathi.
Mukhane is the one who opened the cell for me.
Proceed.
Yep.
Ngamanje la kune passage la. Wase lo muntu lo athi angime straight ngithatha ithombe.
I just stood in, there was a passage there, I stood there. That person then instructed me to stand up straight and took photos of me.
Proceed.
Waphinda athi angikumule nepahla ngithathe ithombe ufuna ukubona umzimba la ngaphezulu.
Also instructed me to undress or take off my clothes, the my upper clothes, as well as to see my body.
Waphinda athi angikumule neqathula.
Also instructed me to take off my shoes.
Proceed further.
Yeah.
Base bengiphinde bengibuyisele eseleni ngaleso sikhathi leso.
And at that time they then took me back to the cells.
And did anything again happen later on the 17th at the?
Waphinde wabuya kosenkantolo enomkhane no eseza no nephoyisa lebengilandela le Rustenburg uSergeant Mapena.
Mokhana came back, my lord, together with the police officer that he was traveling with in Rustenburg, that is Mapena.
Bafika bangivulela futhi base bengicover lapha ama handcuff.
They opened up for me and then they placed handcuffs on me.
And where did they take you?
Baya kuphi now?
Kwahamba umkhane phambili Mapena ngemuva ngilandela umkhane.
Mokhane was in front, Mapena was behind, and I was instructed to follow Mokhane.
And where did they take you?
Naya kuphi?
Safe nje sangena kwenye nje indawo nje nespace eyayinetafula so.
We just got into this spacious place that had a table. Yebo.
Mangifika khona kosenkantolo ngafica kugcwele abantu abaningi.
On my arrival there, I found a lot of people.
And when you say, when you arrived at that place, evidence has been led in court that on the 17th by Mokhane Mukhola, that you were taken to a boardroom where you were asked questions or interrogated. Are you talking about the same incident?
Kufakaziko bethule phambi kwalenkantolo ke bathi bakuthatha bakusa kuyovisi elithize ke la owabuzwa khona ke imibuzo. Ngabe kusho lokho?
Yebo bangesi kodwa angangabuzwa yebo imibuzo.
Yes, I was taken there, but they are not the ones who were asking me questions.
Okay. And further, you testify now that there were several people. Were those people police officers as well?
Nanjengoba uthi wafica kunabantu abaningi labo bantu labo wabafica lapho kwakwamaphoyisa nabo.
Angazi uma kwamaphoyisa azange bangitshela futhi ayikho abangikhombisa wona nkosenkantolo.
I am not aware whether they were police because they never informed me and there's nothing that I was shown.
Uyiwana umuntu wagcina ekhuluma nami ngitshela ukuthi ubani.
There's only one person who who spoke to me, ended up telling me who that person was, or who he or she was.
And who was that person?
Kwakubani loyo muntu loyo?
Ubaba uGininda.
Mr. Gininda.
And please proceed further.
Qhubeka ke.
Utheke mase ngichazela uGininda ukuthi yena uBrother Gininda wathi mangikhiphe imask.
When he introduced himself that he was Brigadier Gininda, he then told me to remove my mask.
And I waseyikhipha ngoba ngambona straight yena. Ayikhiphile imask.
He also removed his, and then I could see him clearly after he had removed his mask.
And what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Emveni ngalokho nkosenkantolo wayesengibuza ukuthi ngangikuphi ngo-October.
Thereafter, he then asked me where I was in October.
And what was your response there too?
Yathini impendulo yakho kulokho?
Ngathi mina angisakhumbuli ukuthi ngangikuphi ngoba ngiyasebenza futhi ngumuntu othanda nokuya ekhaya.
I then said that I can't remember as to where I was because I am employed and I also like to go home.
Let me clarify this. When he asked you, where were you in October, did he specify the date and the year of that October?
Uma ekubuza ukuthi wawukuphi ngo-October, ngabe unyaka wawuchaza kanye ne-date wayichaza?
Wayichaza yizo sengasakhumbula uma athi 27 or 26 angisakhumbule kahle.
He mentioned it, although I just can't remember whether he said the 26 or the 27. I can't remember well.
And you testify now then that you gave an answer that you've just proffered now. What then transpired?
Uthi ke emuva kokuthi usumphendulileke kwasekwenzekani?
Mase ngiphendula ukuthi angisakhumbuleka wasethi ke kimi ucela ukubona umzimba wami. Ngoba ngangigqoka ijacket nje nomkhono emide neskipa seFabian ngaphansi asiyelo.
He then requested me, after I had answered him, to take off my clothes. He would like to see my body because I was wearing a jacket and as well as a yellow Fabiani t-shirt underneath.
Let's stop it there. I want to ask you several clarification questions. The several people that you referred to as being there in the boardroom, how many were there?
Labantu okhuluma ngako nanjengoba usho ukuthi wafica kunabantu abaningi. Babe bangaki?
Angibakountanga kusenkantolo ngoba bona babe baningi ngoba itulo etafula so babegcwele so.
I didn't count them, my lord, because there were many of them, as well as the chairs were right around the table.
The reason I ask you that is that evidence has been led in this court to say the people that were in that board meeting was firstly Mabena, Mohani, and Mhula testified that she joined them towards the latter part of the meeting and that Gininda was not there. What is your comment?
Imbangela ke ukuthi ngikubuze lokho ngoba ubufakazi obethuliwe phambi kwalenkantolo ukuthi abantu ababe khona lapho kwakuMabena, uMukhani, waze uMukhula wase ezoba ingxenye kamuva ke yaloyo mhlangano loyo. Kodwa ke kubufakazi babo bashilo bathi uGininda wayengekho lapho. Uthini wena kulokho?
Wayekhona nkosenkantolo akulona iqiniso ukuthi wayengekho.
He was there, my lord. It's not true that he wasn't there.
Now, I've clarified that you are at a stage where you are requested to take off your clothes now for the second time that day. Who requested you to do that?
Uthi ke kwasucelwa ukuthi ukhumuleke lo impahla wawuyigqokile ukuthi ubani owacela lokho?
Moyo baba lo Gininda.
It's Mr. Gininda.
And proceed further.
Qhubeka.
So, from my understanding, when you say he said you must take off your clothes, you mean all your clothes?
Ukuzwisisa-
Being stuck
Sorry.
naked or what?
Ukuzwisisa nje kahle ke uma uthi ke wacela ukuthi ukhumuleke, wathi ukhumule konke awugqokile ube nqunu nje noma wathi ukhumuleni?
Cha nkosenkantolo ngakhipha lokho wangaphezulu kuphela
Only-
ngashela ngebhuluka.
Only the upper part clothes, that which I was wearing on my upper body, my lord, as well as the shoes.
Then what transpired after you took your clothes off?
Kwasekuthini ke emuva kokuthi ukhumulile?
Kwaseke uMabena waqala wasumabena weza ke inkosenkantolo engibuka la. Wase ngibuza uMabena ukuthi akaze ngwenze namathathu futhi angaze ngiboshwe yini.
Then Mabena stood up, approached me, and he looked at me, this part, the witness pointing to the upper arms, both sides, and asked me, have you ever made tattoos and have you ever been arrested?
What was your response there to?
Wathini muphendula?
Ngathi mina ngiyaqala ukuboshwa angizange ngiboshwe.
I said to him that it's the very first time that I'm being arrested. I've never been arrested.
And about the tattoos, had you had tattoos before?
Wasuthini ke ngamathathu?
Ngathi angizange bene tattoo mina.
I said I've never had tattoo.
Then proceed further.
Qhubeka ke.
Phinde wathi mangiphinde ngikhamisa umlomo ngawukhamisa umlomo.
He also asked me or requested me to open up my mouth, which I did.
Engibuka ngamehlo so yona yena uMabena nkosenkantolo.
And Mabena himself was looking at me, my lord, with his eyes.
Wasephinda engibuza ukuthi ngangalifaka ne igolide ngamtshela ngathi cha.
He also wanted to know or asked me, have I ever had a gold tooth? I said no.
Let me stop here. Now, in the boardroom, from the time you enter to the time when you are made to do all of those things, take off half-waist your clothes, open your mouth, let me check your tattoos. Did anyone explain your constitutional rights to you?
Nikulelo kamera lelo ke nkathi ungena lapho zenziwa zonke lezi zinto oyibalayo ukuthi ukhamise ukhumule icathulo owugqokile la ngaphezulu ukhona nje umuntu wachazela ke ukuthi mayela namalungelo akho onawo.
Ayangikhumbuli mina ngoba umuntu mezongena kimi ethi mina igama lami nguBrakati Gininda ebese ngibuza umbuthi ngangingokuphelanga liso ayangikhumbula ngitshela ngamalungelo.
No, I don't remember, my lord, because when someone comes to me, then introduces himself as being Brigadier Gininda, then asks me where I was on a particular day, I then don't remember being asked about or being warned about rights.
And let's clarify this for purposes of the future. Did he say I'm Brigadier Gininda or I'm Gininda? Because his title by then was not Brigadier.
Asikulungiseke lokho ukuthi wathi kena engabe yena wathi kuwena ngiuGininda noma ngiubrigadier Gininda ngoba ngaleso sikhathi leso wayengekabi uyena ubrigadier. So ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi wathini uma eyichaza kuwena.
Angisakhumbuli uma wathi banikhona igama libizayo vele ngangimashine igama lesibongo sakhe mina kwasenkantolo.
I can't remember, my lord, but there is a name that he mentioned, my lord. But he mentioned his surname.
Now, regarding the taking off of the clothes, Mohane and Mohola have testified in this court and have denied the allegation that you were made to take off your clothes.
Mayelana ke naloko kushoyo ukuthi bakhumulisa ke owugqokile umkhane kanye naye umuhula kuyona lenkantolo nkathi bethula ubufakazi babo ke bakuphikile ukuthi bona bathi kuwena khumula impahla.
Akusho ngobona vele ngikhompahla washo uGininda ukuthi angikhumele impahla ngoba izithombe ngayithathwa ngefoni izithombe lezi zomzimba ngaphezulu ibhoda ngaphezulu.
They're not the ones who instructed me to take off my clothes. It was Gininda who instructed me to take off my clothes, and a phone was used to take photos of me.
Now, let's clarify this. You are asked to remove your clothes. They inspect you for whatever they're inspecting you for. You are asked to open your mouth cavity for the reasons that they said. Was there anything else that was asked of you regarding your appearance in 2014?
Ngaphandle kwaleso soyishilo ke ukhunyuliswa ukhamisiswa khona okunye abakwenzisa kona.
Wangithatha zona nje ithombe vele lokho ke wasetha uzobuyeze kimi.
I took photos of me thereafter. He told me that he would come back to me.
Ngase ngihamba bengibuyisela emaseleni phakathi.
I then left and they took me back inside the cells.
Before you go on, did anyone in that meeting ask you about the type of hairstyle that you had in 2014?
Ukhona yini kulabo owakubuza mayelana ke ukuthi ngo2014 inywele zakho zazi kanjani noma ihairstyle owawunayo ngo2014 ukhona kubona owakubuza ngehairstyle owawunayo?
Lokho ngakubuza uGininda la ngibuza ngedread ngangaba nedread ngathi cha.
That was asked to me by Gininda whether I'd had dreadlocks. I then said no.
And was anything asked of you about your occupation? What were you doing in 2020?
Ingabe khona yini
I mean in
owakubuzwa
2014, I'm sorry.
owakubuzwa ukuthi umsebenzi owawenza noma usebenza phi noma wenza umsebenzi onjani ngo2014?
Akazange ngibuza uGininda ukuthi bengenza umsebenzi umono wayengibuza yena kuphela ukuthi ngangikuphi ngedate so ngoba yena wayengibuza ukuthi mina ngihlala kuphi eFosolwazi ngithi mina nkosi enkantolo ngihlala eFosolwazi.
He never asked me that question because what Gininda was asking me where I was on a particular date, and he also wanted to know where I was staying in Fosolwazi, and I said that I'm not staying in Fosolwazi.
eFosolwazi ngiyangogidingo.
I only go to Fosolwazi when we have to perform, whether we are singing, we are dancing.
And the police officers, in regard to the so-called Senzo case, did they ask you about certain individuals?
Can you repeat that answer?
Regarding the arrest on the Senzo in that boardroom, was he asked about if he knew certain individuals?
Nkathi ke bekhuluma nawe laphayana ne bekubuza ke mayelana lecala leli lika Senzo ingaba bakhona abantu abathize yini abakubuza ngabo
Kulaba bephakathi abanye. Kulaba babehleli khona la phakathi.
Abona njengoba bekhuluma nawe nje
Yeah.
angithi bakubuza ukuthi wawukuphi ngelanga elithize kanye wawukuphi kathi uSenzo eshona. Ingaba kunabantu nyabakubuza ukuthi uyamazi ubani ubuza leyo nto ukuthi bakhona yini abantu ababekubuza ngabo ukuthi uyabazi yini umuntu othize uyamazi umuntu othize uyamazi?
Awengakangibuzi lapho ngibuza emveni kwesikhathi.
No, he didn't ask me that. He asked me that after some time.
Now, both Mohane and Mohola have testified that when you were asked about your whereabouts on the 26th of October 2014, you said that you were at work. What is your comment?
Bobabili ke umukhane kanye naye umuhula bathe uma bethula ubufakazi babo kulenkantolo ukuthi uma ubuzwa ukuthi wawukuphi ngazo i26 zika October 2014 wena ke wathi umbaphendula ukuthi wawusemsebenzini.
Cha nkosi enkantolo ngathi mina angisakhumbuli
No.
ukuthi ngangikupha ngisemsebenzini ngoba ngangisekhaya
No, my lord, I said I cannot recall or cannot remember. I don't know whether I was at work or I was home.
And by home, what do you mean?
Uma utekaya, usho?
ekhaya eNatal kwaNongoma.
Home in Natal, Nongoma.
And at that meeting, did you inform Mohane that you are willing to take the police to your workplace in Carltonville?
Kulowo mhlangano loyo washo yini kuMokhane ukuthi wena kuyimisele ukuthi ungawathatha amaphoyisa uye nawe emsebenzini eCarltonville?
Angikaze ngisho lapho nkosenkantolo.
I'm not-
Uye kuphela wangivulela wathi ngingene emotweni ngayibona imoto isifika lapha engangisebenza khona ethi angikhomba ukuthi ngangisebenza kuyiphi shaft la.
I never said that, my lord. I was just placed in the vehicle. I saw the vehicle driving, and the vehicle drove to my workplace. He then told me to point which shaft I was working in.
Now, at the conclusion of the meeting in the boardroom, what then transpired?
Seqedwa ke manje noma lowo mhlangano sowuphela ke manje kwase kwenzekani ke uma sebeqeda ke ngayo konke lokho abakwenzeka lapha kwase kwenzekani?
Maqeda umhlangano lo ngoba uGininda wayelokho ethi angifuni ukukhuluma iqiniso ko ngimbuze ukuthi iqiniso lephi engizolikhuluma.
When that meeting ended or finished, my lord, because Gininda kept on saying that I don't want to tell the truth, and I was asking him which truth must I tell? Yeah.
And contextually, when he says you don't want to speak the truth, what was he referring to?
Uma esho wayekhuluma ngani? Sikhuluma ngoGininda ke manje. Uma ethi ke wena ke awufuni ukukhuluma iqiniso, wayekhuluma ngani?
Wayekhuluma ngecala la ngibophelelo nelengilapha ngokosenkantolo.
He was referring to the matter that he had arrested me for, the matter that I'm appearing in court for right now.
And what were your responses to his questions regarding your whereabouts and your knowledge?
Wasuthini ke kuwena mayelana ukuthi wawukuphi kanye nolwazi lwakho? Wathini wena uma umphendula kulokho?
Mina ngamtshela ngathi angazi lutho ngosenkantolo.
I told him that I knew nothing, my lord.
And then now the meeting in the boardroom concludes. What then happens to you? What transpires?
Kwase kuqediwe ke manje lana ke kulomhlangano la enhlezi khona kwase kwenzekani?
Mase siqedile ukungibuza imibuzo khona elokhuza ayesiphethe isithombe.
When we had finished asking me questions, there is a photo that he had. Yebo.
Proceed further.
Yebo.
Ma ezithombe mayibekala uyangibuza ukuthi ubani lo ngithi mina hayi angabathi angibazi la.
It's actually photos, my lord. And he placed these photos right here in front of him. He would then point, who is this, who's this, and who is this? I would then say, no, I don't know these people.
And then what transpired?
Kwase kwenzekani?
Mangithi angibazi wase ngibuza ngesinye sasingale ngemuva athi ubani lo ngathi lo muntu angimazi mina ethi wena nguwelo ngithi hayi akusisi isithombe sami lo muntu angimazi lo.
When I then answered and said, I don't know these people, then he pointed to a photo that was at the back and said, who is this person? I said, I don't know this person. He then said, no, this is you. I said, no, this is not me. I don't know this person.
Yes, if I may refer as for photo, I think it's photo 47 of Exhibit S be displayed. If you look at the monitor, is that the photo that you are referring to?
Isona lesithombe ukhuluma ngaso?
Yebo yiso lesi.
Yes, it is this photo.
And when Gininda said the person that is depicted amongst the people that are there is you, which person did he point to as depicted in that photo?
Imuphi lo ayekhuluma ngaye uma ayethi ke wena lona?
Wayekhuluma ngalo ngosenkantolo.
Ungasondela?
Lo.
What piece?
The witness is referring to the person with the cap on.
And I want to object to this reading of this evidence. Is this exhibit part of this trial within the trial? Yes, court, please.
As the court persists, my lord, this has been disclosed to us. It's part of the totality of the case.
No. We are in a trial within a trial. We are not on a trial regarding the merits of this matter. The question which this court must decide upon after having declared the trial within a trial because accused number 1 and number 2 disputed that they had freely and voluntarily made the alleged confessions. And The law says you must declare a trial within a trial.
As the court places,
And that it's a circumscribed,
yes,
compartmentalized interlocutory inquiry.
as the court
There's
places.
nothing to do with drinking Coca-Cola at
No, that's
Fosnura.
fine.
So
That's
well.
fine, my lord. I'll withdraw that question. Now, that questioning by Gininda on the 17th, did he ask you anything further?
Leyo mibuzo leyo ke owayibuzwa uGininda ngalelo langa lange7 khona okunye akubuza kona.
Awathi nje maqeda ungikhombisa ithombe hayi basukuma bahamba mangithi ithombeleze angizanze kosekado.
After pointing out the photos to me and me saying that I don't know the photos or the people of the photos, they stood up and they left.
Now, let's move on to the events of the 18th of June 2020. Do you recall the events of that day?
Uyakhumbula ke ngazo i18th ka June 2020. Yakhumbula kwenzeka ngalelo langa lelo?
Yeah.
Yes.
What transpired on that day?
Yini eyenzeka ngalelo langa?
Wafika usayitshela umkhani kosenkantolo ePro Station.
Sergeant Mukhane arrived at the police station,
Proceed.
Wangivulele eseleni wangitshela ukuthi mangivuke.
opened up for me in the cell and told me to wake up.
Let me just for clarity, what time did he arrive? Roughly what time, not the exact time.
Ungathi noma ungeke usho ke isikhathi ngqo ke kodwa ungathi kwakungobani inkathi umefika.
Wawusekuseni isikhathi ngingasazi isikhathi angisazi kosenkantolo.
It was in the morning, although I don't know the time, my lord.
Proceed further.
Usungaqhubeka.
Maye thi angivuke sambeke waseke engifaka ama handcuff la ngemuva.
When he told me to wake up and that we leave, he then placed my hands right at the back and handcuffed me.
Sambe sike siyophuma ngomnyango lo mawuphuma emaseleni lo uphuma la party passage amasela.
We then went out of the door, that is now the door of the cells, my lord. In other words, the passage that is in the cells.
And what happened?
Mangifika lapho ke ngathola usayitsheni lo munye usayitsheni Mabhena.
Upon arrival there, that's when I found the other sergeant, Sergeant Mabena.
Emduzane nemoto lemhlophe white Fortune.
He was standing close to the white Fortuner.
Wavula ngangena phakathi.
He opened and I went inside.
Umkhani wasephinde ngena lendlela leyangazi yanga ulumema officeini nini ngambone yale waphinde wabuya kwase start imoto sahamba.
Mukhane then went back towards the offices. He came back, switched on the vehicle, and we left.
Sorry to cut you off. Did the police tell you why they were booking you out on that day?
Ingabe amaphoyisa akutshela yini ukuthi kwakungani bekhipha ngalelo langa lelo?
Cha nkosenkantolo akangitshenanga mina ngambona sesiseCartonville sethi khomba ishaft wawehla kuyo la ngoba amashaft aseCartonville maningi kakhulu.
No, my lord, I only just noticed or saw when we were in Carltonville and I was told to point out the shaft where I had went down because there were too many shafts in Carltonville.
Who was driving the white Toyota Fortuner?
Fortuna lena kwakubani umshayeli wayo?
Oyena usayitsheni umkhani.
Sergeant Mukhane.
And did you give them any directions to go to your workplace?
Ingabe wawubatshengisa yini ukuthi bahambe kanjani ukuyofika emsebenzini wakho?
Cha.
No.
Mina ngibakhombe nje kuphela sengibuza ukuthi iphi shaft la ngathi nazo ngoba vele isemgwaqeni. Uphuma nje emgwaqeni ungena khona.
I only pointed out when I was being asked about the shaft because it is just close to the road. You just leave the road and then you are at the shaft.
And which shaft number did you take them to?
Iyiphi ishaft obayisa kuyona?
Number 8.
Number 8.
Then what transpired when you arrived at shaft number 8?
Masenifika ke kuyena ushaft number 8 kwasekwenzekani?
Ngabakhombisa kosenkantolo ukuthi yangisebenza la wasehla umkhani yedwa ngishiya noMabhena ngaphandle.
I pointed out to them, my lord, that this is where I'm working. Mukhane then alighted, my lord, and he went there alone, left me together with Mabhena in the vehicle.
Now, let me just pause here for a minute. On the morning of the 18th of June 2020, when Mukhane books you out, did he inform you of your constitutional rights?
Ngalelanga lange-18th ka June 2020 ngathi ke uMukhane ekhipha ke lapha emaseleni wakuxwayisa yini ngamalungelo akho?
Angikhumbuli Nkosi enkantolo.
I do not recall, my lord.
Now, you are at shaft number 8. Mohale has exited the vehicle. What then transpired?
Nifikile ke manje ku shaft 8 umkhane uphumile unishile emotweni nababili namabhena kwase kwenzekani.
Wangena ngaphakathi Nkosi enkantolo. Waphinde wabuya wazongibiza nasesibiza nomabhena sasesingena sonke futhi.
He went in, he then came back, called both myself and Mabena, and then all three of us went in together.
And by the way, the shaft that you went to show that the police officers took you to, it's at which mine?
Ikuyiphi mine leyo shaft leyo khuluma ngayo?
Isecartonville, East Riffontein igama la.
East Reef Fontaine.
Yes, Banya Coast.
Carltonville, East Reef Fontaine, Sibanye,
Stillwater.
Stillwater, my lord.
Proceed further when they took you now inside the premises of the mine complex.
Qhubeka ke nangena nobathathu.
Singenile ke ngaphakathi ke sahamba. Angimazi lo munye lo wayehamba la umkhalo umlungu eyosikhombisa ioffice le eShaka.
We then left, or proceeded, my lord. I don't know this white gentleman that Mukhane was with, went to point it out the office.
The white gentleman, for clarity's sake, is not a police officer. Is that an employee of the mine according to your observation?
Umlungu lo khuluma ngaye kwakungasilani police, umuntu owayesebenza emine naye. Ngendlela wabona ngaye kwakuwumuntu osebenza emine.
Ngoba samthola ngaphakathi ngena umuntu osebenza ngaphakathi ngacabanga ukuthi umuntu osebenza khona.
Because we found the person inside, I would then assume that it was someone working there.
Yeah, ngoba ngeke ungene uyohlala ngaphakathi ungenalo icard.
Because you would never go in, sit inside without having a card.
Proceed further, sir.
Yeah.
Sasesingena ke officeini le eSharo. Wase ngibuza kumkhalo omkhani benomabhena ukuthi ena ngabe yiyona office eSharo lo ngathi mina ya yi office party umlungu lo wayephethe section lengangisebenza akusuye lo.
Then this office was then we were then taken to this office. I think the witness is saying HR office, if I'm hearing correctly. HR office, and uthi wena akusiyona le office.
Yili office kodwa umlungu lo engamthola phakathi ehlele
Yeah.
ecofa computer kwangesiyo le
All right.
ngamazi.
I then confirmed that this was indeed the office, but then the person or the white person that I found there, busy on the PC, I said, this is not the one that I know.
Then what transpired in that
Kwase
office?
kwenzekani.
Bakhuluma ke naphe language bebekhuluma la ngangayizwa.
They then spoke among themselves in the language that I couldn't understand.
But eventually, what then transpired there? Did they get the information that they were looking for, or what happened?
Kwase kwenzekani ke egcineni ngaba bakuthola lokho babekufuna noma kwenzekani.
Wangibuza umlungu lo wayehleli phansi ngoba ukhuluma umfana kalo emayini. Wathi mangibize kune number ebizwa eqala ngo-Z emayini.
Okay. This white gentleman, my lord, then asked me or spoke to me because in the mines they don't speak proper language. It's just a mix, what would be being referred to as being Sfanagalo, and then asked me for a specific number that starts with a Z. Yebo?
Ngambizela ke number ke asephuma kamaphepha base bawathatha lamaphepha la bewabuka bona omkhana azange wabone mina ukuthi la kunjani babewabuka bona hayi mina.
I then mentioned the number, then documents were printed out. They looked at those documents. I didn't see the documents. They were the ones that were looking at the documents.
Then what transpired after they received the documents?
Kwase kwenzekani?
Masiqeda ukwathatha Nkosi enkantolo kwasasihamba sawophuma futhi ngegate.
Took the documents and then we went out of the gate.
And what happened outside the gate?
Kwenzekani ngaphandle egate-ini?
Masifika egate wase ngibuza umabhena ukuthi imedical le ubuyisebenzisa usebenza la ngabe kuphi yona ngathi mina iphezulu duzana nehostel lapha engangihlala ngakhona.
Mabena then wanted to know from me the medical that you were using whilst working here in this mine. Where is it? I then said that it is closer to where I am staying.
And what happened?
Kwase kwenzekani?
Inyukile ke imoto masifika khona egate la khona ngathi kulapha imedical enziwa khona.
The car then drove up. On arrival there, I then pointed out that this is where the medical is done.
What happened when you get at that center?
Masenfika khona lapho kwenzekani?
sangena ngaphakathi kusenkantolo mabefika ngaphakathi bathi bacela ifayela lami la esibhedlela.
We went inside, my lord, and when they got there, they then requested for my file from that hospital.
What then happened?
Kwathini?
Wababuza kusisi ukuthi ifayela nivumelene nomnikazi ukuthi silikhiphe ngoba phela fanele sikhombise nama license yonke into yenu.
The lady then inquired from them, did you, is this now in agreement together with the person, was the patient, because you also have to produce your documents.
Proceed.
Yebo?
Base bephendula ngabazi bakhuluma nabo bengayibhekisi ke imlo pendulo bekhuluma bodwa lapha.
They then responded, but I couldn't hear what they were saying because that was not directed at me. They were speaking amongst themselves.
Wase ngibiza kusisi ngaphinde ke ngambizela yona le nombolo eqala ngo-Z ngoba ngeke liphume lingabiziwe inombolo le yami.
The lady called me. I then mentioned the very same number that starts with AZ because the file won't come out if that number is not mentioned.
Then what happened?
Base bechecka base bethi sicela usicheckele ukuthi ayikhona injali engayireport ngo-October mina la.
They then requested for her to check as to whether was there any injury that I reported in October.
And was that information furnished to the police officers?
Ngabe ke bakunikwa ke lokho.
Banginingi ngoba ngababona amaphepha bewaphethe.
It was furnished because I saw them in possession of documents.
Did anything further happen in that office?
Kukhona okunye okwenzeka kulelo office lelo.
Mabethetha amaphepha siphumile futhi saya kuphi ngaphandle kwegate samaduzane nemoto.
When they took those documents, we went out, outside the gate, next to the vehicle.
And what happened outside the gate at the vehicle?
Kwenzekani lapho?
Mina bangivulelile ngangena emotweni.
They-
Bona bamaphandle.
Okay, they opened for me, I got into the vehicle, and they remained standing outside.
And then what happened thereafter?
Kwase kwenzekani?
Babekhuluma nefoni ngangezwa ukuthi bakhuluma nobani nefoni ngoba akuphilanga nje isikhathi esinganani ngabona sekufika yena ubaba lo bengibuza imibuzo nge-17 wathi ubaba uGinenda nomama lo wayethi umamfundisi.
They were then speaking, my lord, using the phone. I couldn't hear what they were saying or who they were talking to. And then after some time, this gentleman that was asking me questions on the 17th, Mr. Kidinda, arrived, as well as the lady who introduced herself to me as Umamfundisi.
Now, for clarity's sake, you've seen the person in court and you've heard her name being said in court, her real name, that Mamfundisi. What is her real surname?
Umbonile lo muntu okhuluma ngayo lo wena uthi umbiza uMamfundisi, umbonile noma ke futhi wezwa nala enkantolo uma belibiza igama lakhe ke. Batheni uma bebiza igama lakhe noma isibongo sakhe la enkantolo?
Nkosi enkantolo isibongo sakhe ngiqala khona la ngathi Mkhula or Mkhola la.
I heard the surname for the first time here in court. I think they said Mkhula.
Now you are outside the gate. Brigadier Gininda arrives with Sergeant Mkhula. What then transpires? Take it from there.
Kufika ke uGinina noMkhula kwase kwenzekani?
Bafika ke usayitshela Mkhalante ephethe amaphepha bafe babuka lamaphepha bembodwa la phandle.
On their arrival, Sergeant Mkhula was in possession of documents. They looked at those documents as they were standing outside there by themselves.
Then what happened?
Emveni kwalokho ngambona yena ubaba uGinenda Nkosi enkantolo ebuyela ngaphakathi lapha esibhedlela lapha bekade siphuma khona.
I then saw Gininda going back to the hospital that we were coming out of.
Did he go by himself? Or
Ehamba
was he
yedwa.
accompanied by?
Ehamba yedwa ngoba abawu3 ngangishiyeke nabo ngaphandle.
Alone, because the other 3 remained with me outside.
Did there come a point when he returned from inside the complex, Gininda?
Ingaba sikhona ke isikhathi la abuya khona ke. Ngaba nje nanjengoba wangena wabuya futhi.
Wangena waphinde wabuya sebuya sechange uba nesikhathi esincane waphinde wabuya weza lakithi Nkosi enkantolo.
After some time or a short space of time, he came back to us.
And what happened when he returned to the cars?
Uma sebuyela ke emotweni kwenzekani?
Waqala naye wakhuluma nefoni khona la phandle. Mayekhuluma nefoni ngazi ukhuluma nabani. Emveni kwalokho wasevula emotweni ukuthi namanje afuna ukumtshena iqiniso na ngimbuza ukuthi iqiniso lephi engizokutshena lona.
He was speaking, my lord, using his phone. I don't know who he was talking to, and then opened the vehicle, asked me, are you still not wanting to tell the truth? And then I asked him, what truth?
And in relation to, for context purposes, when he says you still don't want to tell me the truth. Did he relate in respect to what aspects?
Uma ethi awukafuni namanje ukhuluma iqiniso washo kuwena ukuthi ukhuluma ngani?
Wangitshela ukuthi awufuna ukukhuluma iqiniso into bengibuza ne-boardroom tour. Wawukuphi ngokushona kaSenzo na?
He said to me, are you still not wanting to tell the truth with regards to what I asked you in the boardroom as to where you were when Senzo was killed?
And what was your response?
Wathini muphendula?
Impendulo yami Nkosi enkantolo kuye ngathi mina into ongangibuza zona leza la emsebenzini nanokuthi ingoma ekuphi ngakuphendula ke lapho.
I told him that the only things that you can ask me about are work-related issues and also where we have to gather for dance or for a song, a ceremony. There I can answer you.
What then transpired after that?
Kwasekwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho?
Wathi angimhloniphi ngathi mina angazi lokho kusho kwakho lokho baba.
He then said that
impendulo engcono.
He then said that disrespecting him, I then said to him, that's what you are saying.
Then what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Basebema ke phandle bona bekhuluma ke. Into bekhuluma baba 4.
They stood outside, they were talking amongst themselves, the 4 of them.
And once they've done speaking amongst themselves, what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani masebeqedile ukukhuluma?
Mabeqeda ukukhuluma Nkosi enkantolo uGininde wasengena emotweni ke nomama lo mamfundisi.
Then Gininda got into the vehicle together with the lady Mamfundis. Mbize ngesibongo sakhe ngithi. Uzwile mase sibongo sakhe. Mbize ngaso sibongo sakhe. Sergeant Mukhula.
Then what happened?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Ngashiyeka ke Nkosi enkantolo nomabhena noSayitsheni lo umkhami.
I then remained behind with Mabena and Sergeant Mukhane.
And did you know where they entered? Did they leave or did they enter the mine complex?
Ingabe ba Gininda and Mukhula.
Gininda and Mukhula, I'm sorry.
uGininda noMukhula ingabe bahamba noma bangena ngaphakathi emine?
Hayi bajika baqhama ngendlela leyo phela thina sasimi indawo yeso sasimi la mawuzongena sibheke indawo yehlela. My imoto ijika ihamba straight angibona noma yangena ngaphakathi noma ihamba straight.
They turned around because from where we were positioned, my lord, one cannot see as to whether they drove inside or they left.
Now, Brigadier Gininda testified in this case and he said the following. At Carltonville, at Sibanye Gold, upon his arrival and those investigations were done, he got into the motor vehicle that you were in and he indeed questioned you about the case that he questioned you about. Do you recall that?
Kubufakazi bakhe ke abethule kuyona ke lenkantolo uBrigadier Gininda uthi ke impela ke wayekhona ke lapho esibanye kwenziwa ke lolo phenyo olalwenziwa khona lapho wasengena emotweni ke owawukuyona wena impeleni ke wavuma futhi nokuthi ke wakubuza imibuzo.
Iphutha ke Nkosi enkantolo lona iqiniso.
No, that's a mistake, my lord. It's not the truth.
Then he testified that indeed you denied any knowledge of the allegations that he was asking you about.
Empeleni ushilo ke nayo ke ebufakazini bakhe uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi wase wena ke uphika ukuthi cha awazi lutho ke wena ngeinsolo lezi yena ayekubuza ngazo.
Yeah, uqinisile Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, he was telling the truth, my lord.
He further testified that he then confronted you with a photo of an identity kit that was published in the newspaper pertaining to the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, and that you denied that the person that he pointed at on that photo depicted wearing, on that identity kit, depicted wearing a hoodie resembled you. You denied that and you said it's a case of mistaken identity.
Uthi waseqhubeka ke ekubuza isithombe ke manje esasigcweleke esasikhishwa ke emaphepheni somuntu lapho owayegqoke ihoodie wase wena ke uphika ke uthi cha loya muntu loyana ke akusiwena ke iphutha leli elenziwa lapha yana noma iphutha lelo alenzayo ukuthi uwena loya okulesa sithombe.
Nkosi enkantolo isithombe lesekukhulunywa ngaso ngiqala ukubona sivezwa lapha.
The first time I saw that photo, my lord, it's when it was depicted here.
That after that, he then exited that motor vehicle and he was walking towards his motor vehicle when one of the officers, he didn't identify which one, called him to say that you, Mr. Ntanzi, wanted to talk to him again.
Uthi ke waphuma ke kule moto oyehlezi kuyona imoto le ogibele kuyona wena ehamba ke eya kule moto ayehamba ngayo yena kodwa ke elinye lamaphoyisa kula maphoyisa ayelapha akashonga ukuthi yiliphi lase limbiza ke lithi wena ke Ntanzi ufisa noma ufuna ukukhuluma naye.
Iphutha Nkosi enkantolo.
That's a mistake, my lord.
My lord, I think that's an opportune time. It's heading towards 11:30. Francis remarks that to him tantamounted to a confession. What is your comment?
Okunye futhi kubona ubufakazi bakhe ke uBrigadier Gininda uthe nkathi ekhuluma nawe kunezinto owazisho kuyena ke lezo zinto lezo waseyithatha ke ngokuthi ke lokho ukugonyuluka noma ngathi ukuvuma ke uthini wena kulokho.
Ngiyaphikisa Nkosi enkantolo angivumelani naso.
I dispute that, my lord.
That at that stage, he then proceeded to read you or to explain or advise constitutional rights to you.
Uthi ke emuva kwalokho yila aseqale khona ke manje ukuthi asexwayisa ke ngamalungelo akho ngokomthetho sisekelo.
Bengicela Nkosi enkantolo umelana ke ngichasisele ngama rights la. Mhlambe khona phe engezwe khona kahle.
I would like, my lord, to request my legal representative to explain to me or to tell me about the rights. Maybe there is somewhere where I'm missing it.
So the procedure is that normally when a police officer questions you and intends to arrest you relating to an offense, there are certain rights in terms of the Constitution Act 108 of 1996 that he must advise or explain to you.
Umthetho ke uthi uma iphoyisa likhulumisana nawe noma linenhloso lokuthi ke likubopheke ukuthi ke kufanele ngokomthetho sisekelo ke abe nezinto akutshela zona ke noma ake akwexwayisa ngazo ilezi kuma usezichazwa ke noma ibizwa ke manje kuyethiwa ke umuntu unelungelo elithile unelungelo elithize unelungelo elithize ngokomthetho sisekelo akwexwayise.
Nkosi enkantolo azikho Nkosi enkantolo zexwayisa ngixwayisa ngazo.
No, my lord, there were no warnings that he gave me.
Yes, as I tried to do that earlier, but you answered the question and I was curtailed to answer that right. So let me give you examples. Paramount of those rights are you are told that you've got the right to remain silent. Did Gininda warn you of those rights at Carltonville?
Akubalekile ke lawo malungelo ukuthi kumuntu akutsheleke ukuthi yabona njengoba ngikubopha ke manje unelungelo lokuthula lokuthi ungasho lutho kumina. Ingabe uGininda wakuxwayisa nini ngalelo lungelo lelo?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo azange.
No, my lord, he didn't.
Did he advise you that anything that you say to him may and will be used against you in a court of law?
Ngaba wakuxwayisa yini ukuthi noma yini oyishoyo kuyena leyo nto leyo ingasetshenziswa nabo njengoba sihlangene la manje icala liyaqulwa ukuthi leyo nto leyo isetshenziswa nanjengobufakazi ngakuwena?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
Did he explain to you that you've got the right to have an attorney present during questioning?
Ingabe wakutshela yini ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi unganommeli abe khona ummeli njengoba yena ekhuluma nawe ekubuza imibuzo ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi akubuza imibuzo unelungelo lokuthi ummeli wakho abe khona uma ekubuza imibuzo?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
Did he also explain to you that you've got the right, if you don't have financial means, to be provided with a lawyer at state expense?
Ngabe waqhubeka yini akutsheleke uma kuukuthi awunayo imali yokuthi ufuna ummeli ngabe ngaphandle ozomkhokhela ukuthi ke ungasenza leso sicelo leso ke kumbuso wona kuzokutholela ummeli bese kuba umbuso okhokhela lowo mmeli loyo?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
Did he explain to you the right that you have to challenge the legality of your arrest?
Ingabe wakutshela yini ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi ke ungabe usemanje ke usebenzisa umthetho ke ukuthi ubhekisise indlela oboshwe ngayo ukuthi indlela esomthethweni yini noma ehambisana nomthetho?
Cha kaze ngitshene Nkosi enkantolo.
No. No, he's never informed me, my lord.
Now, Mr. Ntanzi, those rights are encapsulated in Section 35 of the Constitution, but there's a whole lot conspicuous of those rights. But the ones that I've just summarized now are the ones that are normally read to arrested persons, suspects, and the like.
Lamalungelo ke awaphelele kula engiwashoyo mina kodwa ke ukaningi ke uma abantu beboshwa noma umuntu eboshwa ke iwona lana achazwayo kodwa maningi wona ke khona la abhalwe khona ke angaphansi komthetho ke abawubiza ngokuthi usection 35 kodwa ngikubizela nje mina athize nje.
Now let's proceed. Then Brigadier Gininda testified further that you indicated to him that you are willing to make a statement to an independent officer pertaining to the remarks that he said you made.
Waseqhubeka ke kubufakazi bakhe uBrigadier uGininda wathi wase umtshela ke wena ke ukuthi uyimisele ukuthi ungayokhuluma nomuntu ke oyimela ngamanye amagama ke umuntu ongasiyona ke ingxenye yophenyo noma ke ithimba leli asebenza nalo eliphenyayo uyimisele ukuthi ungahlangana nomuntu onjalo uyokhuluma kuloyo muntu loyo.
Cha Nkosi enkantolo angikwazi lokho.
No, my lord, I don't know about that.
And let me just track back and tie it up with this one of rights. That you indicated your willingness to talk to him in the absence of an attorney, in the absence of a lawyer. You waived your rights to have a lawyer.
Waqhubeka ke wathi wena washo kuyena wathi uyimisela ukuthi ungakhuluma kuye noma ukhulume naye ummeli engekho.
Cha Nkosi enkantolo angikwazi ukungiqala namhlanje.
No, my lord, I'm hearing that for the first time.
Now, sir, you have testified that you were booked out from Pretoria North by Mokgane in the company of Mabena and taken to Carltonville. During that time, let me start here. Did you have breakfast in the morning at the police station in custody?
A particular police station?
In
or
the
any
morning, before they booked him or at the time they booked him, did he have breakfast at Pretoria North?
Okay. Ngale langa ngithi kule police station yase Pretoria North bakhipha ke bahamba nawe uMkhane noMabhena kodwa ngaphambilini kokuthi uhambe ke ukudla ke kwasekuseni lokho bakubiza ngokuthi ke i-breakfast wawukudlile yini ngale langa?
Cha ngangadlanga Nkosi enkantolo.
No, I didn't eat, my lord.
Now, during the time that you go with Mabena and Mokgane, they do investigations. Later on, they are joined by Gininda and Sergeant Mukhula. Were you given anything to eat?
Manje ke senyahamba ke uhamba naye uMabhena kanye naye uMkhane kwase kufika ke uBrigadier Gininda uSergeant Mukhula ingabe ngaleso sikhathi leso kukhona enakudla?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo akukudla ngakudla.
No, my lord, I didn't eat any food.
Were you given anything to drink?
Khona ukunikiwe ukuthi uphuze?
Cha next Nkosi enkantolo.
No, nothing, my lord.
And was there a time when you were given an opportunity for a comfort break or to use a bathroom?
Ingabe sikhona yini noma likhona yini ithuba la khona ke wanikezwa ke isikhathi ukuthi usungahamba ke manje endlini encane uma kuukuthi ufuna uyisiza?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
And at the time, were your hands still in restraints from the morning, from when they handcuffed you to the time as when these investigations are done within the mine complex? Were you still in handcuffs?
Ingabe ngaso sonke leso sikhathi leso kusukela ke ekseni bekhipha laphayana niyahamba ungenwe imayini la benza khona ke uphenyo labo ukuthi ngaso sonke leso sikhathi leso izandla zakho ufakwe ozankosi?
Ngangiwafaka kodwa masingene emayini ngoba ngangengikwazi ukungena egate ngoba igate yakhona le ejikeleza encane le ngena umuntu nje straight
Yes.
bawakhipha bawabuyisela sengaphakathi ngangengikwazi ukungena nawe egate ngoba efasona nefasona.
My lord, when I went through the gate, I would not have been able to go through that gate, the swerving gate, with the handcuffs on. So they were removed, and when I was on the other side, that is now inside the mine, they were placed back again.
Yes, bar those instances when you go through 10 stars. At all material times, the handcuffs were slapped on you, correct?
Kodwa ke ngaphandle kwalokho ngaso sonke isikhathi ozankosi babefakiwe bengakhishiwe.
Yebo Nkosi enkantolo.
That is correct, my lord.
Now, we are at the stage, and I want you to take it from there. Investigations are done at Sibanye. How long, in terms of time, you arrive in the morning, how long did you stay, perhaps, according to your estimation, at Sibanye Gold?
Ngokwesikhathi ke angithi nafike ekseni khona laphayana ke eSibanye ungathi ke kwaba isikhathi esingakanani enani lapho eCarltonville khona njengoba nafike ekseni?
Nkosi enkantolo angisasikhumbula isikhathi ngoba newash ngangenayo.
My lord, I can't remember the time because I did not even have a watch.
Let's leave that. Now proceed further. The investigations are done. Mohula and Brigadier Geninda have left. What then happened to you, Mabena and Mohani?
Usushilo ke ukuthi base behamba ke uBrigadier Gininda naye uSergeant Mukhula kwase kwenzekani ke ngawe uSergeant Mukhane kanye noMabena.
Uma ehamba kosenkantolo uGenenda sasheka sathi nje ubuma bekhuluma namafoni.
We remained there, my lord. We stood there. They were speaking using their phones.
Baseke bengena emotweni maqedwe ukukhuluma nefoni. Sahamba sakudla ilokhozi plant lapho ibhande lelihambisa igolide ephuma emgodini. Masifika phambili ngambona uMabena ekhuluma nefoni.
We then proceeded from there, my lord, that is now traveling alongside the plant, that is now the one that now produces or takes out the gold from the mine. And then at some point I saw Mabena using his phone, talking.
Ngoba wayekhuluma ilanguage le esifana nezulu ngangimuzwa ukuthi ngoba wayethi imphathi senze njani ngalo muntu lo.
Because he was speaking a language that is similar to isiZulu, I could understand him. He was then saying, boss, what should we do with this person?
Then what happened?
Mayeqeda ukukhuluma nefoni ngangayizwa impendulo ephuma kulomuntu akhuluma nawo wavala ifoni wase ngibuza ukuthi indlela eRustenburg la ehamba ngayo ngathi mina ngiyiboni mangela.
I could not get the answer or the response from the other side, but then when he was done, he then asked me, how do we travel from Rustenburg when we are here? I then said, from here, I can't see it.
Now remember, we are still talking about the 18th at the mine complex, the investigations, all of the whereabouts, the clinic where they took your records. Where were you taken from Carltonville?
Ukhumbuleke sisakhuluma ngoloko kwenzeka ngazo i18 lapha yana ke emine unibani eclinic ukusuka lapho bakuthatha bakusa kuphi.
Kosenkantolo mina ngabona indlela ibheka le ngaseGoli kuthi kwiGoli alilazi kodwa ngabona nje imoto apha yafika amakhona yafika engine garage lapha ngafika ngabona khona ngoba iGoli alilazi kahle kahle.
I just saw the vehicle traveling towards Johannesburg, my lord, but because I am not familiar with Johannesburg, but I just saw the vehicle coming to a standstill at a engine garage.
And you know the particular suburb or town where that engine filling station was?
Indawo le u-engine loyo othi imoto wayibona imisa kena uyazi ukuthi yini igama la leyo ndawo leyo?
Ngangazi igama lakho ngoba imoto ngayibona mina mayijika so iphuma kule ndlela leyo indlela engiyayibona indlela esihamba ngamasekhaya. Mayiphuma i-indicate ijika ezothi phakathi kwebridge mayikhuphuke ngibona ibhodi elibhalwe Albertine ibhodi.
Okay. I didn't know the name, my lord, but just as the car took a turn, because I was familiar with the road, that's a road that we would be using going home. So I saw a board or a signboard written Albertine.
Lapho ke imoto yahamba khona yaze yafika ke yangena kulo garage leyo.
That's where the car traveled up until it reached that filling station.
And what transpired at that garage?
Kwenzekani ke kuleyo garage leyo?
Egarage wafika ke imoto umkhani wayimisa ke behla bekhuluma namafoni.
At that garage, he brought the vehicle to a standstill, and then they alighted and spoke, and then they were speaking over their phones.
Now let's get a general idea of that filling station. We'll have a filling station, the tanks, perhaps testify whether does it have a shop inside that garage?
Siyazi ke ukuthi igarage ke ngokuvamsekile ukuthi izoba njani ke iyona igarage inama tank like tell khona ke ingaba isitolo yayinaso leyo garage leyo.
Angibonanga ukuthi isitolo ngoba imoto ayiyanga nalapho kuthela khona petrol kosenkantolo yangena nje yaya straight la kuma parking ayiyanga le kuthela ngakhona petrol.
Couldn't see, or I didn't see whether there was a shop, my lord, because it did not go to the tanks, in other words to fill up, but it went straight to the parking lot.
Can you perhaps give a bit of clarity about the area specifically where the car was parked, the Toyota Fortuner, at the garage?
Ungakhona yini ukuthi uyichaze indawo le othi imoto yaya kuyona ke la njengokuthi ku park yafika yamakhona ke indawo ongakhona ukuthi uyichaze uyisho?
Yebo ngayichaza kosenkantolo.
Yes.
Please describe it for the court.
Uyichaze.
Kosenkantolo imoto mayingena la kunendawo ngathi nje indawo yokuhlala abantu abadlayo la namatafula nyana. iside yayiphambi kwamoto ibuka so kunendawo ngathi yethama lento lamagesi amahasi la.
Okay.
Ngoba ngangibona umuntu mayephethe ihasi yalapha ngingaze kodwa uthi uyokwenzani.
My lord, as one would be driving in, there would be tables on the side where people would sit and eat, and then as you drive straight to where the car was parked, you would see people going in with their gas tanks. You would think that, oh, it looked like a place where people were filling up their gas tanks.
Now, proceed from where Mabena is on a call making certain calls. What then transpired?
Shilo ke ukuthi baphuma ke bekhuluma ke emafonini qhubeka ke kusuka lapho kwenzekani.
Etheme beqeda ukukhuluma namafoni kosenkantolo ngabona kuqhamuka imoto embili iGTI imoto emhlophe eyinomaka yizwa ngazi ukuthi emaphoyisa abizwa ngani ngoba ngifunda yedwa nayenawo umaka onayo ihardboard engenawo umaka evene emhlophe.
Then two vehicles appeared, my lord. It was a white GTI. It was marked, although I can't tell what that mark was because I'm illiterate. And then there was a hard body, but the hard body wasn't marked.
Now, describe to the court the occupants first of the VW GTI.
Awusichazele ke ngalabo ababegibele kwi-GTI leyo eyayimhlophe leyo othi yayinomaka.
Kwi-GTI kwakukhona abantu abayi-2.
There were two people in the GTI, yebo.
Were they male persons?
Kwakuwabantu besilisa?
Yebo.
Yes.
Were they black, white, Indian, colored?
Kwakuwabantu abamnyama, abantu abamhlophe, ama-Indian, ama-Khalati.
Engathi kongamakhala kodwa lona omunye wayefihle ngemask lo omunye lo.
It looked like colored.
Mask so.
Sorry, they looked like colored, but the other one was hidden himself with a mask.
The one who's not hidden with a mask, did he at any stage testify in this court?
Omunye lona ke owayengayifakile imask ingaba mhlambe wayezile la inkantolo ezothola ufakazi.
Yebo ufike.
The one who's not hidden with a mask, did he at any stage testify in this court?
Omunye lona ke owayengayifakile imask ingaba mhlambe wayezile la inkantolo ezothola ufakazi.
Yebo ufikile.
Yes, he did.
What is his name?
Ubani igama lakhe?
Igama lakhe ngilizwe khona lapha enkantolo ukuthi Jonathan.
I heard his name here in court, Jonathan.
And in that GTI, were there the guy with a mask on, and Jonathan, was there any other occupant in that car?
Why
in the GTI?
GTI babe-2.
There were two people in the GTI.
Now, the occupants of the hard body, can you describe to the court how many were they?
Babe bangaki ababegibele kwi-hard body?
We-hard bodies ngababonanga kahle phakathi ngoba kwaphuma abantu abayi-2. Ngibabonanga ukuthi babe bangaphakathi.
I couldn't see as to how many they were inside, but two people alighted from it.
And those people, were they male or female persons?
Kwakuwabantu besilisa besifazane.
Kwangabo body.
Gentlemen.
And now, just for clarity's sake, the two cars, were they police cars or were they normal civilian cars?
Le moto ebili lezi kwakuyimoto zamaphoyisa noma kwakungezona imoto zamaphoyisa?
Lena yodwa ngoba yayinomaki le iGTI le ehamba uJonathan. Yona yayibonisa ukuthi imoto yamaphoyisa yayingabonisi le mhlophe.
Because the GTI was marked, it indicated, there was an indication that it was a police vehicle, but the other one, the hard body, was not marked.
And the occupants of both cars, the Nissan hard body and the GTI VW motor vehicle, were they clothed in civilian clothing or were they in uniform?
Labantu laba ke kuzo zoyimbini le imoto lezi ngaba babegqokele nje impahla zabo noma babegqoke ke impahla zomsebenzi ejengisayo ukuthi ke basemsebenzini.
Abegqoke impahla zomsebenzi kosenkantolo.
They were in uniform.
Including the two persons from the Nissan hard body.
Nalaba laba babephuma hard body nabo.
Ngabona laba baphuma beza ke emababili.
I saw the two that came to me, or that got out and came towards me.
Now, what transpired once these two cars arrived at the engine garage where the Toyota Fortuner was parking?
Seyifikile ke le moto embili lapho ke egarage engine kwasekwenzekani?
Nkosi enkantolo i-GTI yangena yagudla yona ifortune ngoba ifortune ayimibo yangena la i-hard body yayimiswa ngemuva so zilandelene kodwa nale ngaphambili i-GTI.
As these two cars were following each other, the hard body following the GTI parked next to the Fortuner, and the hard body was just behind.
Then what transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Wasephuma kumabhena lapha naye emotweni ngoba wayebuye angene emotweni ngoba kwakubanda.
Mabena then alighted from the vehicle because he would go in and come out of the vehicle because it was cold.
Proceed further.
Baphuma bakhuluma bonke nje bemlapha ngingakezwa ukuthi bathini.
They got out, they were all speaking among themselves over there, and I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Proceed.
Emveni kwalokho waseza ke uMabhena wangikhipha la kule moto le iFortune wangifaka kule GTI le.
From there, Mabena then came to the Fortuner, took me out of the Fortuner, and placed me in the GTI.
Were you still in handcuffs at the time?
Usafabuza nkosi nangaleso sikhathi.
Yebo.
Yes.
How were you still handcuffed?
Babefakwe kanjani?
Ngalokho bafake ngemuva.
My hands were always, all the time at the back.
And where were you placed in the GTI motor vehicle?
Kwasekuthi ku-GTI bakubeka kuphi noma bakuhlalisa kuphi nendawo?
Ngangena ngapha endaweni ka-driver leya right umdriver ngaphambili ngangena ngemuva.
Just right behind the driver, no, on the right hand side.
And did anyone else get into that car?
Khona omunye wangena kuleyo moto.
Kwangena uMabhena ngale sandleni sami sokunxele.
On my left side it was Mabena.
What then transpired in that motor vehicle?
Kwasekwenzekani ke?
Ngoba phambili lo ehleli phambili no Jonathan yena wayelokho ehleli nje lapha ya uJonathan ehleli la.
The other one, the person that was with Jonathan was on the left, that is now in front, and Jonathan was just seated there.
What then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Kwaseke uJonathan ejike ngibheka kwasekusondela ke ubaba wayeproducer ke moto ngobuthelezi.
Then Jonathan turned around and looked at me, and then certain gentleman then introduced himself as Buthelezi.
Yes, we may have missed that one. Where, in relation to the GTI, there's Jonathan in front passenger's driver's side, front passenger seat, unknown man. The left is Mabena, the right is you. Where is Jonathan in relation to those positioning? The driver is Jonathan.
Yes.
There's an unknown male person with a mask on the front passenger seat.
Yes.
On the left rear, it's Mabena.
Yes.
And the witness is on the
The
right,
right.
yes. Behind the driver.
Yes.
Where is Buthelezi?
Okay. Kulabantu ababalile bonke la emotweni angithi ushilo ukuthi ubani ohlezi kuphi. Waye kuphi nendawo yena uButhelezi?
Wayephandle khona la ngoba isivalo sasingavaliwe sasivule.
Eduze kwakho.
Eduze kwami.
He was outside just right next to me because the door was not closed.
Yes, what then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Waseke mengitshena igama lakhe Nkosi enkantolo wase ngibuzela nami sengimtshene la muntu ngoba.
Introduced himself, asked me who I was, and I also told him as to who I was.
Who introduced himself?
Ubani lo wayichaza?
Nguye qala.
He introduced himself first.
Yes, who is he?
Sikhuluma ngobani na?
Sikhuluma ngobaba uButhelezi.
Buthelezi.
Okay. After that, what then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani ke emuva kwalokho?
Emveni kwalokho ke wase ngibuza imibuzo naye ukuthi ngelanga lelo khoza le October yizo sengazi ama 26 or 27 wathi wawukuphi ngale date le.
He then also asked me questions about a day, although I can't remember whether it was the 26th or the 27th in October, and asked me as to where I was on that particular day.
Proceed.
Ngase ngimphendula mina Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi uma ukuthi ngangingekho emsebenzini ngisuke ngisekhaya.
I then answered him that if I am not at work, or if it is that I wasn't at work, then I would be at home.
What happened next?
Yebo.
Waseke engitshena ukuthi into ayifunayo iqiniso.
He then told me that the only thing that he was looking for was the truth.
Ngimbuze nami Nkosi enkantolo ukuthi liphi iqiniso lelo olifuna ngapha ngiyaphendula.
I then asked him, which truth are you referring to? Because I am answering you.
What then transpired?
Yebo.
Waseke qhamuka umfowele ngana nje nami wayenomzimba nje mude futhi
And
manje
then-
igama lakhe ngigcine ngaze ekugcineni ukuthi Maphumulo.
And then a guy, my lord, who is my height, but he is bigger than me in build, then appeared, and I ended up getting to know his name, that it's Mapumulo.
What happened when Mapumulo came
makufika amaphumulo kwenzekani?
naye wafika wangitshena lento bekhulunywa ngobuthelezi kwasenkantolo ukuthi into abayifuna kimi iqiniso.
He told-
Ngiphinde ngibuza ukuthi liphi iqiniso olifuna pha ngiyakuphendula.
He told me the same thing that Buthelezi told me, that the only thing that they were looking for or that they wanted was the truth. I said to him, but which truth? Because I'm answering you.
What happened next?
Yeah.
Emveni ngalokho kwase ngikhuluma bhena ngapha eceleni kwami sekhuluma ukuthi yababona laba batabala kuwe la. Lembuzo bakubuza noma ungafuna ukubantshela iqiniso. Uzophuma ngikushiya emotweni.
Then Mabena answered and said that, you see these people that are here, if you don't want to tell the truth, I'm going to leave you in the vehicle. I'm going to get out of the vehicle and leave you here.
Then what happened?
Yeah.
Emveni lokho ke na uMabhena ngimbuza liphi iqiniso mina Nkosi enkantolo ukuzokhuluma kuwe Mabhena ngani ngoba ngiyaphendula lama ngingekho emsebenzini osuke ngisekhaya. And negoli lelo ngibuza ngani igola nilazi. Ngazi lapho ukugidwa khona uma ngibuthi ingoma eground resole kuphi le ngoma. Ya ngafe ngikhombisa ingoma ukugidwa la.
Then what
I
happened?
also answered Mabena and said, but which truth are you referring to? Because I am answering you, and I am not familiar with Gauteng. If you were to ask me where is it that the performance is being held, or where the song as well as the dance, then I'll be able to point that out to you.
Then what happened, sir?
Yebo.
Emveni ngalokho ke Nkosi enkantolo ngabona uMabhena ke khipha uplastic wase Truent. Ewufaka ke emekhaya.
Thereafter, I saw Mabena producing a Truworth plastic bag and placed it over my head.
Describe that plastic bag.
Awuchaze lo plastic.
Plastic wase Truent oba uplastic wase Truent usilver lawa wa silver manje ubhale uthi Truent la.
It's a
La
silver
phakathi naphakathi.
Truworth plastic bag, and it's written the Truworths.
Now that bag is placed over your head. Proceed from there.
Wawufaka ke ekhanda kuwena qhubeka.
Mawufaka uplastic ekhanda ngithi ngizama ke ugquma ubaba utheleze ngiphresile ngapha uthi ngingakhona ukuphuma ngephandle ngoba ngangizophuma kube wayengekho ubaba utheleze ngapha engishovela phakathi.
And as I tried to jump, my lord, but I was pressed on the side by Buthelezi, because he's the one that was blocking me to go out. Because if Buthelezi wasn't there, I was going to get out of the vehicle.
How did you feel as that plastic bag was placed over your head?
Wazizwa kanjani ke ngaleso sikhathi uplastic lowo ufakiwe kuwena ekhanda?
Kwakubuhlungu ke Nkosi enkantolo ngoba oyelanga lokuqala letense.
It was hurting to me, my lord, because that was the first time that was happening.
Proceed further. What happened
Uthi
next?
namanje abona nje inhliziyo yami Nkosi enkantolo ngelapha kwakhe. Inhliziyo yami ibuhlungu kakhulu.
Even now, my lord, as I'm before you here, my heart is very painful.
What happened next, sir?
Kwase kwenzekani ke?
Mabebona ukuthi abalungu leta abayenza ngifuna ukuphuma uJonathan ashove isitulo athi angivule imilenze isitulo singene la ke ngibe sona isitulo esingikhona ukumpresela ngapha uthi ngakhona ukuyalena ukuyala.
And my lord, the other thing that happened was that Jonathan would then push the seat backwards and instructed me to open my legs so that the chair or the seat can get in between my legs.
And how long do you estimate that for the first time the plastic bag was held over your head?
Cabanga ukuthi ke uplastic lowo wawugcinwe noma ufakwe la kuwena ekhanda isikhathi esingakanani?
Angeke ngikwazi Nkosi enkantolo ukumeshina isikhathi ngoba babawufaka bethi mangifuna ukukhuluma bazozwa ngami.
I wouldn't be able to tell the time, my lord, because they would place the plastic and they would say that if they would hear from me if I wanted to talk.
And was that plastic bag at some stage removed from your head?
Ngabe sikhona yini isikhathi la khona ke uplastic lowo wasuswa ekhanda lakho?
Babawususa mangithi manene ke.
When I would say to them stop, and then they would remove it.
So from what I'm hearing from you, are you saying that the plastic bag was repeatedly placed over your head at different times?
Engikuzwa kuwena ukuthi uplastic lona babephinda ngathi babewufaka bawukhiphe bawukhiphe yiloko babekwenza kuwena.
Babawufaka mangithi mina manene ke bewukhiphe. Emveni ngalokho mangithi bethi khuluma mangithi ngithule phinde ubuyela game ekhanda.
Yes, they would place it, my lord, and then maybe I would say to them, wait, then they would remove it. If then I keep quiet, then they would put it back again.
And besides the plastic bag being placed over your head, Was anything else done physically to you?
Ngaphandle kokufakwa kwawo uplastic kuwena ke ekhanda ngabakhona yini okunye ababekwenza kuwena la kuwena emzimbeni?
Yizo Nkosi enkantolo ngangingabona ukuthi ubani ongishaya ngepama la ngoba phela mangivaliswa engipressile khona ushaya ngepama ngangingabona ukuthi ngishaya ubani but kodwa umuntu engangibona uyena ongishaya ngepama ilona ngangifuna ngangifesene naye uJonathan ngoba ngayengeke ubaba uThulezi ukwazi ukugamanxisa isandla ngishaya ngepama.
Although I would not be to see as to who was smacking me with an open hand, my lord, because the plastic would be covering my head. But I think that the person that would have been able to do that was the one that was facing me, which was Jonathan. Buthelezi from where he was, he could not have smacked me.
Now, there's one character that we missed earlier. Let me just add that character to the picture. Where was Mukhane at this time?
Wayekuphi ngaleso sikhathi uMukhane?
Umkhane ngamgcina esemotweni ehleli khona ngoba cha yena akazange ngibeke isandla Nkosi enkantolo uMkhane.
The last time I saw I checked Mukhane, my lord, he was in the vehicle and Mukhane never assaulted me, my lord.
Now, in the vehicle, did Jonathan participate in the assaults that were perpetrated on you?
Emotweni uJonathan wayingxenye yini yalabo ababekushaya?
Yebo Nkosi
Yes,
enkantolo.
my lord.
And how did he participate?
Kanjani?
Angithi uma bhena mebamba uplastic uJonathan nawe uyangipressa ukuthi ngingakhona uqhuma.
When Mabena is holding the plastic, Jonathan would be pressing me so that I wouldn't be able to jump.
Ngoba izandla isitulo semoto masimso izandla zakhe zayiphuma la ziza ke imvele so uma bhena ngithi ungapha yena umsebenzi wakhe ufaka uplastic bese bepressa lapha ngekhanda.
As the seat would be pressed, or the seat would be like this, my lord, so his hands would be protruding from the sides, and so he would be pressing me.
And the gentleman in the front passenger seat, did he do anything to you?
Lona yena owayehlezi eduze koJonathan phambili, kusihlalo singaphambili khona wayekwenza yena.
Cha lo wayexofela ifoni akazangenze nix nje.
No, that one was just busy with the phone. He never did anything to
Ngoba
me.
namanje ngengimkhomba ukuthi ngwela ngoba akaze akhiphe imask akazenze nix kimi lo.
Because even now, I won't be able to point out that person because he never even removed his mask. He didn't do anything.
And at some stage, did, roughly, before I go to that, how long do you think that plastic over your head, a slap here and there, how long do you think that event, that incident took place in that car?
Kulokufaka uplastiki bekhona ke ukushaya ngempama yonke le yanto eyenzeka emotweni ungathi yenzeka isikhathi esingakanani.
Nkosi enkantolo kwahlaliwa lapha khona isikhathi. Yizo isikhathi ngeke ngisimeshini ukuthi isikhathi esingakanani.
We were there for some time, my lord, although I won't be able to say precisely how long.
Did you suffer any injuries as a result?
Ingaba khona ukulimala owakuthola ngenxa yalokho.
Nkosi enkantolo ngingasho ukuthi mawufaka uplastic ekhanda kuzoba buhlungu ikhanda ngeke lihlale lingasha ngoba phela uplastic uyashisa Nkosi enkantolo and uvala umoya.
Yes, my lord, when a plastic is put over your head, there is no way that that wouldn't be painful or that your head wouldn't be burning because the plastic itches or it is there's heat in there.
Now, at some stage, did that, which was the incident in the car, did it stop?
Ingaba kwaphela noma ke kwagcina sebengasaqhubeki sebekuyeka lokho babekwenza.
Bayenza phela ngingazi ukuthi kwaba isikhathi esingana lokho bephele beshitshana noJonathan awufana amabhena awufake emveni ngalokho ngabona seke sengikhishiwe emotweni sengibuyiselwa kule moto le.
Though I won't be able to tell as to how long
fortune.
Because they were taking turns, my lord. It would be Jonathan, it would be Mabena, and then thereafter I was then taken out from that vehicle back I was then taken out of that white vehicle.
And when were you you were taken now from the GTI motor vehicle to which vehicle?
Mabe sebekhipha ke manje ku GTI bakufaka kuyiphi imoto?
Ngabuyela kwiFortune.
I went back to the Fortuner,
Lega abawuhamba.
the one driven by Mukhane.
What then transpired once you were placed in the Fortuner?
Emveni lokho kwaphunya ngazi imoto phela ngingazi ukuthi imoto zayihamba phi kule ndawo mina ngiyazi igola ngithi but imoto yayichuza khona lapho ngingazi ukuthi yakuphi.
Then the cars left there, my lord. The cars were traveling, but because I am not familiar with Gauteng, so I don't know where the cars were traveling.
did those cars, is it one car or all three of the cars went out?
Kwahamba imoto eyodwa noma zahamba zonke lezo imoto ezazilapha.
zahamba zonke zoyi-3.
All three vehicles left.
And did those cars come to eventually come to some destination?
Ngabe uma ihamba ke kodwa khona yini egcineni la eza iyofika khona?
Kukhona ngoba eyihamba phambili yo le eyidrayiva uJonathan kuyile Fortuna kaMhali phakathi eHalbot iza ngemuva mayihamba phakathi kwale ndawo ezayihamba kuyo.
Yes, my lord, there was some destination because the one that was leading was the one driven by Jonathan, and then the Fortuna in the middle, and then the hard body.
Now, for contextual purpose, what time did you arrive at that engine garage before we leave engine garage? What time did you arrive from Carltonville at that engine garage?
Fika kuloya Carlton. Sorry. Uma nifika kuloya engine garage, kwakubani isikhathi? Nisuke Carlton, nafika ke manje kulo engine garage. Kwakubani isikhathi uma nifika kulo engine garage?
Ngebhadi nephuthe kwasekantolo isikhathaya ngangenazo angasibongi nokusibonga ngoba inhliziyo yami yayibuhlungu serious yayibuhlungu.
Unfortunately, my lord, because I did not have time on me, so I cannot tell the time, and I can also say that I was in pain, my lord. Even my heart was sore.
But was it during the day, in the afternoon, dusk, or evening?
Kodwa ke ngokubheka kwakho kwakusekuseni, kwakusemini, kwakusebusuku.
Kwasekuqala kuba mnyama ngoba ilanga lashesha ukushona kubanda kungoJune July.
It was now starting, sunset was starting, my lord, because it was in June, it's winter, so sunset is earlier in winter.
And is it your testimony that when you left engine garage, then was it already dark?
Ufakazi bakho ukuthi uma nisuka kona ke lapho engine kwaseqala ukuba kwasekumnyama.
Nakhona lapha sikhona wasubona ukuthi kumnyama.
Even there where we were, we could see that it was dark.
Now you arrive at the destination where you are driven now to the second spot. Take it from there. Describe to the court what happened.
Nafika ke kule ndawo inaniya kuyona uma nisuka ke engine chaza ke.
Masifika le ndawo le esaya kuyo nkosenkantolo. Lapha I'm sure yizwa ngingabona ngathi makwakomnyama kodwa khona istepisi sasehlela ngale. Although
I couldn't see properly, my lord, because it was dark, but there was a staircase that was going down, but I didn't use it. I went on the side of it, or to the side of it.
And can we perhaps, for contextual purpose, describe that place? Were there any objects, items, or whatever you observed at that area that could be a beacon or some sort of location indicator to say, I was at this place because I saw these particular objects?
Kukhona ongakusho ngachaza uthi ke ngangisendaweni ethize ngoba ngabona lokhu kwakunento ethize kuleya ndawo kunento ethize khona ongakusho mayelana naleyo ndawo leyo uthi kwakunento ethize lapha.
Yebo nkosenkantolo ngasho ukuthi kwayinto engangiyibona ngoba mawuzobona i-truck lele lichitha udustbin ngathi lifunana endaweni leyo isiganga khona.
Yes, my lord, I can say so because if you see the truck that now removes or that takes the dustbins, and so you then clearly say or ask yourself, what does that truck want there? So surely it was there to offload in other words, the dustbins, my lord.
So, besides you observing that it's a perhaps
dumping
site, were there any other objects identifiable to you at that stage?
Ngaphandle kokuba usho ke ukuthi ke ila uthi khona ke ubona ukuthi leyo truck leyo ezolahla ke udoti khona okunye owawukubona ke.
Into engangiyibona ngangibona nelokhuza lapha. Mangimile kunamatanka lapha ngibuka amatanka ngithi phesheya lapha.
The other thing
ngathi nje igquma nya kunamatanka la ngathi akhantwa ngosamende.
One be standing there, you would see tanks from a distance, my lord. It's like they were built with some cement, my lord.
Now, what happened at that locality, at that location?
Kwenzekani lapha?
Mangifika ke nkosi enkantolo lapha bangikhiphile emotweni lo umabhena.
On arrival or upon arrival there, they took me out of the vehicle.
Ngaphuma emotweni ngafika ngamaduzane nesitebhisi esiwathangemele.
Got out of the vehicle and he instructed me to stand next to that staircase.
What then happened?
Angibuze ukuthi namanje awufuna ukukhuluma iqiniso na. Ngimbuze mina ukuthi liphi iqiniso engizolikhuluma ngiyasho namanje ukuthi mawungeke emsebenzini ngisuke ngisephambi.
Asked me, are you still not willing to tell the truth? I'm asking him which truth, because if I am not at work, I will be home.
What then transpired, sir?
Emveni ngalokho inkosi enkantolo bese ke engikhipha lama-handcuff ngemuva ngingamazi lana amanye ukuthi wawanike obani la ayemfase ngawo ngaphi kule nsimbi lena le nsimbi le ngime phakathi naphakathi lesi stepisi.
From there, my lord, he then removed or loosened the handcuffs that is now, as my hands were at the back. And then I don't know where he got the other handcuffs, and then he tied my hands on the steels, on the one on the other side as well as on the other side.
Now, just for contextual purposes again, what were the weather conditions like on that day?
Isimo sezulu ke sasi kanjani ngalelo langa lelo?
Kwakubanda inkosi enkantolo.
It was cold, my lord.
And what were you wearing on that day?
Wawugqokeni?
Ngangifaka ijini ehlaza ereleni. Ijini ereleni.
Okay, a relay jean.
Kuyisweater le-Cavella.
Cavella sweater.
Kuyivesta ngaphansi ivesta white.
Underneath, I was wearing a white vest.
Kuyiskipa seFabiani.
As well as a Fabiani t-shirt.
Kube yitracksuit engase ngenikwa uMabhena.
A tracksuit that was given to me by Mabena.
Bese bayijacket yami ke inkampani ayibhala ukuthi Impala Mine.
As well as my company jacket, my lord, which was written Impala Mine here.
Let's clarify something. I heard something, but the interpretation came otherwise. With regard to the Cavella, was it you said suede or sweater?
Cavella.
The Cavella. Describe again something about the Cavella.
Ngazoma ngayigumula ngibona isikose enkantolo
Sorry, is it a type of a shoe, or is it a jacket, or is it whatever? Because I couldn't get the interpretation clearly.
Ukhuluma ngeCavella. Ngazi ukuthi uzweni Mr. Ramsipile wathi uthi khona akuzwile noma ngakuzwanga ngeCavella oyishilo.
Ngithe enyaweni ngangigqoke iCavella enavy isweat.
I never heard about the feet. I'm hearing it for the first
No, that's
time.
fine. Okay, it's clarified. Then what then transpired?
Kwasekwenzekani?
Ke benze into bebeyenza kimi emotweni inkosi enkantolo ukuthi bafake uplastic la ngoba ngumeli.
They repeated the same thing that they did to me in the vehicle and placed the plastic as I was standing.
Who started that process now at this dumping site? Who started the process of putting the plastic bag over your head?
Senila kule ndawo ke manje ubani owaqala ukwenza leyo nto?
Mabhena oqala lento inkosi enkantolo ngoba yonke into ayenzeka uMabhena noJohn Ntanzi.
Mabena is the one who started that, my lord, because everything that was happening, it would be started by Mabena and Jonathan.
And at the time this plastic bag was placed over your head, was there anything asked of you?
Ngalesikhathi lo plastic lona ufakwa kuwena ke ekhanda ikona into owawuyibuzwa.
Angithi kwakuthiwa khuluma wena man, khuluma wena man.
It would be said, "Hey, you speak," and I would ask, what should I speak? What should I speak?
And were you also physically assaulted besides the plastic bag at that area?
Kuleyo ndawo leyo ngaphandle kokufakwa ke uplastic ngaba wawushaya nokushaywa yini?
Babengangishaya mina inkosi enkantolo. Into babeyenza kimi khona lento babephethe le babe khase bengithele ngamanzi mabeyithi le yayingihlabala. Azange bangishaye ngezandla babu plastic nalento le.
My lord, I was never assaulted. There's this particular object that they had. It would be the plastic, and then when they press it against me, it was, as the witness says it, it would like stab me or hurt me, but they never assaulted me.
Can we, for clarification purposes, describe that object? What is it exactly?
Iyini lento leyo usho uthi khona lento babeyiphethe yayihlaba uma beyibeka la iyini?
Inkosi enkantolo ngeke angiyazi igama la ngoba ngangiqala ngabo mina lento inkosi enkantolo.
I don't know what its name is because for me it was the first time seeing it with them or from them.
Ngoba mayebambe so wawuyizwa maye dry side lapha ekhanda bese mayeyithi ilethe into engathi ngumcibisholo la kule misolo.
Because you would be able to see it, my lord, or in other words, when the head was turning, and you would just feel it would have this feeling as he was bringing it closer to your body.
Now let's further explore that because I want to be specific. Did it stab you or did it emit electrical current to you? That object.
Ingaba lokho kwakuyinto eyayikuhlaba noma kwakuba into ongathi ikhipha ugesi oze kuwena ukuzwisa ubuhlungu noma kwakuyinto eyayikuhlaba.
Yito engathi yayilokhuza yayinhlaba ngoba yayichoka ngathi ngizwe ngathi la izandla ziyaqina zachoka amathumba yalemala.
I would say a step because as you would just feel that even your intestine or inside that you are feeling injured as well as the hands like they are being stiff or getting stiff.
Ngoba nguye uMabhena wangikhumula ijacket mina netracksuit washiyeka iskipa ngasigqoke ngaphansi ukuze akhona ukungithela ngamandla.
Because Mabhena is the one that would remove or that had removing my t-shirt as well as my jacket so as to be able for him to pour me with water.
Now, as a result of that device being used on you, did you sustain any injuries?
Ngokusetshenziswa kwaleyo nto isetshenziswa kuwena ingaba walimala yini ngenxa sikhuluma ngalento manje eyodwa le ukusetshenziswa kwayo kuwena ngathi ungabe kwabangela ukuthi ulimale yini.
Angazi ngaphakathi namanje inkosi enkantolo ngoba akaze ngihanjisiwe ku doctor.
I don't know internally, my lord, because I was never taken to a doctor.
Now,
ama injury akhona ila ama hand cover lana namanje la.
The only injuries that are there now that I can still see where I was bleeding are the handcuff injuries, my lord. The witness pointing to both his wrists.
And do you still to this day have those marks from the handcuffs caused by the handcuffs?
Lawo mark lawo ke ama handcuff usenawo namanje.
No. Amanye nawo kuyabonakala nama lokungaba.
Yes, here they are. The witness pointing to both wrists, left and right.
Now, did that plastic bagging and the device being used at some stage stop to be used at that area?
Kwenziwa ke lokho kwase kufikelela ekuthini ke baze bangabusaqhubeka bayeke ukwenza.
Bakwenza ngithile baze bakhathala inkosi enkantolo.
Yes, up until they got tired, my lord.
Then what happened?
Ngoba kwaze kwasondela yena ubaba lo umkhana. Abatshente mina ayikhumelela kweje ngizethi igama la demand lisho ukuthini?
Demand.
Ngazi lisho ukuthini?
Okay. Because Mukhane came closer, my lord, and he used this word which I don't know as to what it is. What does it mean? Demand.
Now, as that was transpiring at that location, at the dumping site, did there come a time when other people came whilst you were there?
Nise lapho ke abantu abafika nise kuleyo ndawo leyo.
Wafika umama lo mkhulu nobaba lo Gininda.
Yes,
omunye angimazi lo walele into le ofaka lento ama-class band anilazi igama lakhe namanje anilazi.
Sergeant Mukhula as well as Brigadier Gininda arrived. There was another one. Umuntu wesilisa lo ama-class band. There was another gentleman, my lord, but I don't know his name. I don't know who that person or that gentleman was.
And what happened when Brigadier Gininda, Sergeant Mukhula, and the gentleman in braces arrived?
Kwenzekana befika.
Weza ke mina ubaba lo Gininda engibuza ukuthi namanje angifuni ukukhuluma iqiniso.
Gininda came to me and still asked me, do you still not want to tell the truth?
And then what happened?
Mina ngamphendula lapho ukuthi angizazi ukuthi ngangekuphi ngangekho emsebenzini usuke ngisekhaya.
I answered him and then I said to him that I don't know where I was because if I am not at work, then I will be at home.
Now, both Sergeant Mukhula and Brigadier Gininda testified in this court to say that they were never at that site on the 19th of June 2020.
Bobabili ke uSergeant Mukhula kanye naye uBrigadier Gininda bethule ubufakazi bathi abakaze nge-19 zika June 2020 baya kule ndawo le wena oyishoyo.
From my colleague that I just want to seek clarity from the defense that we are now on the 19th
Sorry. It's my mistake, my lord. Thank you, my colleague. Yeah, on the 18th.
Nje
at
iphutha
that
ke
spot, at the
ngedate
dumping site, so-
sakhuluma nge-18 babephile ubufakazi babo ke usergeant Mkhula kanje naye kubrigadier Ginindi ukuthi ngazo le date le 18 abazikaze baya kule ndawo oyishoyo wena.
iphutha balikhuluma nkosi enkantolo.
He made a mistake, my lord.
Now, you testify that Brigadier Gininda asked you some questions and you replied to him. What then transpired?
Ushilo ukuthi ubrigadier Ginindi wasekumuza imibuzo edlula wena kwasekuthini emva kwalokho.
wahamba ke bakhuluma futhi bodwa apha ngingabezwe bakhuluma bethini.
He then left. They spoke amongst themselves one side, my lord. I don't know what it is that they were talking.
Ngoba umuntu engangimbona ukuthi ngeqiniso nje limsulwa phambi nkosi enkantolo. Ngangibona into eyenziwa ke umkhana ka. Ayengayithandi total. Angifuni umqambela manga umntwana wabantu.
And the person that I could see, my lord, who was against everything that was happening to me, I don't want to tell lies on his behalf or and lie about him, my lord. Mukhane didn't like what was being done to me.
Drive imoto wayelokho engibuke njalo esibukweni ngibona ukuthi inhliziyo yakhe into le ayimjabulisanga kakhulu.
Because even as he was driving the vehicle, my lord, I could see that he was using the rear view mirror, or he was using the mirror which was inside the vehicle, and you could see that his heart was in pain, my lord, because he really didn't like that.
Understand?
Ukuthi ke wawibona ukuthi inhliziyo yakhe ibhlungu, wawibona kanjani leyo nto leyo?
Ngayibona ukuthi oqala inkosi enkantolo eze kimi ukuzokhuza.
I saw it the first time, my lord, that he came to me to come and stop.
Ngoba nasemotweni wayelokho engibheka ngibuthi ngiright yini.
In the-
Ngithulele ngingamphenduli.
Even in the vehicle, he would look at me and ask me if I was okay. I would just keep quiet and not respond to him.
Ngoba nje igama engikhumbula ngiphendula ngathi amntwana lahle napha ngithi uNkulunkulu ambusise. Namanje ngisakusho. La lapha lele khona ngithi uNkulunkulu ambusise.
Because the only word that I would say to him, to tell the one that was next to him that as he was seated there, that God should bless him, even where he is resting now, I'm still saying that God should bless him. Sikhuluma ngamaBhena.
Yebo nkosi enkantolo
Yes,
noJohn
ma'am.
Ntanga ngithi uNkulunkulu ababusise.
Yes,
Namanje
my lord.
ngisasho.
Together with Jonathan, I'm still saying that God should bless them.
Now, what then transpired once Gininda has asked you those questions?
Kwase
After
kwenze-
they've had their meeting.
Baqedile ngomhlangano ababenawo uGinindi ukubuzile imibuzo banomhlangano baqeda kwase kwenzekani.
Ngase ke ngena ke emontweni lapha ukhona khona umkhani. Imoto esihamba ngingayazi ihamba apha ngimbona ngayento waphuma bheka ngapha bakuginende.
Then got into the vehicle, my lord. I don't know where the vehicle was traveling to, and I also did not see as to where Mr. Gininda went to.
And
Ngoba
the other,
bazona
so,
imoto-
sorry, Mr. Ntanzi. And the other two vehicles, the Nissan Hardbody and the GTI, did you see where they went?
Ezinye imoto lezi ezimbili, i-GTI, Nissan Hardbody, ngaba wabona ukuthi zaya kuphi zona.
Senyuka nazo nkosi enkantolo ngangayibona ukuthi ishonaphi nazo nje.
We traveled-
Sihanjwa ngangayibona ukuthi babheka kuphi.
We traveled with them, my lord, but as we went ahead with our journey, I didn't see as to where they went to.
Now, eventually, where were you driven or taken by Mohane and Mabena?
Ekugcineni ke wase usiwa kuphi ke uMukhane noMabhena.
Angisekhumbuli police station nkosi enkantolo.
I can't recall the police station, my lord.
Okay. Then you were booked in the cells until the following day, correct?
Wase ubuyiselwa ke emaselini kwaze kwayilanga elilandelayo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I want to us to move to the events of the 19th of June 2020. Do you recall the events that transpired that day?
Usakhumbula okwenzeka ngazo i-19 June 2020?
Do you still remember the incident of the 19th of June?
Yebo nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, my lord.
ngiyakhumbula.
I do.
What transpired on that day?
Kwenzekani ngalelo langa?
Ngalolo langa lele ekseni nje ngoba umkhani wangivusa nje ngizilalela ngoba ngangigodola emaseleni phakathi.
On that day in the morning, because I was woken up by Mukhane because I was just laying there in the cells and feeling cold.
Wangikhipha ke sahamba phinde futhi sangena kuye imoto lapha epaka khona lapha.
He took me and then we got into the vehicle.
Now, before that, let me cut it here and track back a bit. You are now booked at the police station. Did you notify any of the police officers the cell master, anyone at that police station that you had just been assaulted by the people that brought you to that police station?
Manje uma ufake emaselini ke manje ngabe khona yini owamtshela ke kulaba mhlambi noma bagada amaseli osebenza khona lapha epolice station ukuthi uqeda ushaywa ke wena manje yilabo bebekade behamba nawe?
Kosekantolo into eyenzekela e-police station la ama-police station lawa la awafana abona lapha ePretoria North alikho iphoyisa lake lafika ke ngoba umuntu mayephethe ukhiya yokuvulela eseleni ehamba nalowo ahamba naye uMabhena engekho umuntu wasestationini ngizoreportela abantu.
My lord, the police station do not function the same or don't do things the same. There in Pretoria, no one ever came to me, my lord, because when you are being taken and the key is held by the very same person that you are with, who am I going to report to?
Kube yena nkosenkantolo okukhombisa isiport thatha nasi isiport thatha nazi ingubo engekho umuntu osebenza la we-uniform kuyibo ekhiye baqede bahamba.
He's the one who's showing you what to take or where to go, and there is no one who is from the police station. Then there is no one that I can report to.
Ngoba nokufika kwami e-police station kwakehla yena umkhana angene ngaphakathi ngamazi ukuthi abangena yele ngisheke noMabhena la nothi emveni kwesikhathi nangeqhamuka evula athi angiye phakathi.
Because what would happen, my lord, we would arrive at the police station, Mukhane would go in, I would remain behind with Mabhena, he would then come back, he would open for me.
Now, I'll ask it again for fear of repetition. During the two assaults at engine and at the dumping site, did you physically have any visible injuries except the wrists that were injured, the marks that you say you suffered as a result of the handcuffs?
Ngaphandle kwalama mark owashilo ne othi iwona ke asekhona ke noma sabonakalayo khona yinto okunye ukulimala okwakukhona owawunako okwakubonakala kulamahlandla amabini owashaywa ngawo khona ukulimala okwakubonakala owawunako ngaphandle kwama marks la okhulume ngawo ama handcuffs?
Akukho nkosenkantolo kuphela umzimba yawo uzithi umzimba uhlukumezekile.
No, none, my lord, but one could just feel that the body had been abused.
Now, just back a bit as well. When that device was used, the one that you said was used on your torso, did you suffer any injuries? Did you react anyhow? Did you cry?
Nkathi ke isetshenziswa leyanto uthi ayisetshenziswa kubona ke ingabe khona yini okwenza ngaba wakhala yini?
Kosenkantolo ngangikhala.
My lord, I was crying.
Now, you are on the 19th of June 2020 by the person that booked you. Take it from there. What happened next?
In 19 wakhishwa ke kwasekwenzekani?
Ngayibona imoto ihamba ngazi ukuthi yakuphi.
Just saw the car traveling. I didn't know where it was driving to, my lord.
Did that motor vehicle finally reach a destination?
Khona la eyafika khona?
Ikhona lapho eyafika khona yangena khona ngoba lapho la masingena thina kunabantu babecula ngathi kune strike khanyana lapho.
Yes, my lord.
Angazi le ndawo eqoqo.
It reached somewhere because where we were driving or where we arrived, it was like there were some people demonstrating there, some sort of strike, but I don't know that place. I didn't know the place.
And did that motor vehicle enter premises where it had to stop on your way?
Khona la eyangena khona kufanele ukuthi noma ke la eyafika yema khona.
Yebo kukhona kodwa igama lakhona angilazi kuba.
Yes, my lord, there is, but I don't know the name of that place or area.
Proceed further, sir.
Qhubeka.
Mayifika khona imoto ngafika ngahlala khona emotweni akaze ngiphume emotweni.
When it arrived there, my lord, I sat in the vehicle. I never went out of the vehicle.
Waphuma umkhane ke ekhuluma nefoni na uMabhena bekhuluma nefoni.
Mukhane as well as Mabhena went out, my lord. They were speaking using their phones.
Ngoba sahlala nje phela isikhathi eside kuleya ndawo imoto imile.
Because we spent quite some time there, the car just not moving, stationary there.
Just one last question, and I'll take it after the long adjournment. Evidence was led through the aerial expert that there was a stage where the motor vehicle for 10 minutes or so was stationary at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital. Do you recall the incident?
Kunobufakazi ke obukhona ke lana ke bawo ke umbiko lo wana we-AVL ukuthi kunesikhathi ke la khona ke imizuzu eyishumi la imoto yayimi khona ke eKhrizani Baragwana kodwa ke ungaphenduli ke asize umshushisi uthini.
Object. I want to object. Evidence it was unlocked and the fact that it was stationary is not correct.
Let me correct myself. Sorry for putting that version. Where it says GPS unlocked at Chrisani Baragwana Hospital, do you recall?
Uyakhumbula ke ubufakazi la bashilo ke mabechala ngendlela yabo ukuthi ke isho ukuthi iGPS ke leyo ke yayi avaliwe ke. Uyakhumbula ubufakazi lo bekhuluma ukuthi imoto ke khona la etshengisa khona iseKhrizani Baragwana.
Yebo ngiyakhumbula.
I remember, my lord.
Stay with that incident at Baragwana because I'll take it after that. My lord, it will
Zoqhubeka
be
ke.
an opportune moment for the long adjournment. It is exactly what I thought, my lord.
Okay, 2 o'clock. Back.
You were telling me, but I didn't look at it or I didn't see the time because I didn't have time on me.
And then at 4:50 a.m. on the 19th, you were taken or booked out by Mabena on the basis that you are being now taken to Fosloras Magistrates Court. Do you recall that?
Okwenzeka ke njengoba asho ke ukuthi wangena ke ku 2:30 ekseni wase uyakhishwa ke asithi nje isikhathi samahora amabili nemizuzu ngo 4:50 ukhishwa uyena uMabhena ukhishwa uyena uMabhena athi ukuhambisa enkantolo yase Phosphorus uyakhumbula ngazo i19
Kosenkantolo akazangitshela ungihambise enkantolo mina.
My lord, he never
Ngifipha nje masele ngangena emontweni.
My lord, he never informed me that he was taking me to court. He just removed me from the cells and placed me in the vehicle.
Ukuthi imoto yayihamba kuphi ngeke ngikhombe namanje.
As to where the car was traveling, I won't be able to point out even now.
But the point that I want to bring home is this. You were only in the cells for 2 hours and odd minutes. Did you manage to sleep in that 2 hours odd minutes until you were booked out at 4:50 a.m.?
Into engifuna ukuyisho kuyona noma engiyivezayo kuwena ukuthi kwakuwamahora amabini nemizuzu engaba 20 uvalelwe noma ubuyisiwe wase uyakhishwa ke kuleso sikhathi leso samahora amabili kanye no 20 minutes. Ngifuna ukwazi ke kuwena leso sikhathi so walala yini?
Kosenkantolo ngisho ukuthi angilalanga ngoba kwakubanda ngeke ukuthi ufike ngubeni futhi uthole ugodola.
My lord, I would say that I didn't sleep because it was cold. There is no way that you can just get into bed and sleep immediately, my lord, when getting cold.
Okunye ngangimanzi athi bengithele ngamanzi ngangeke ngifike ngithole ubuthongo same time.
The other thing is that I was wet because they had poured water on me, so there's no way that I would have slept immediately.
Now, the other point that I want to bring across is the following. You are booked out in that time period, 8:30 until 2:30 the following morning, and you were taken to Carltonville, you were taken to Engine Garage, where you allege that you were tortured and assaulted. You are now taken to the dumping site, and the rough estimate is about 17 hours that you were booked out. How did you feel physically about having spent that lot of time in the hands of the police?
Uma ubheka ke lesi sikhathi lesiyana owakhishwa ngaso kwaba isikhathi obuyiswa ngaso singathi ke amahora lawo ke ayishumi nesikhombisa u17 hours uwonke lo wawuzizwa kanjani ke ngaleso sikhathi leso ngoba ushilo ukuthi wakhishwa naya ke eCarltonville nahamba naya kwa engine la uthi khona babekuhlukumeza khona wawuzizwa kanjani?
Ngizizwa ngekho right phambi kwenkosi enkantolo ngoba uma kwenziwa into eqalayo enhlizweni yakho nasemoyeni wakho ukuzibona ukuthi kahlahle umuntu lo yini le ayenza kimi.
I didn't feel that good, my lord, and also when something is being done or you are experiencing something for the first time, you ask yourself, what is it exactly that this person is doing?
But physically as well, the point that I want to get, were you still physically fit as in the morning when you wake up, or were you exhausted at that time?
Engifuna ukuzwa ukwazi kwena ke ukuthi ke ngokwasemzimbeni wawuzizwa kanjani izwa ukuthi wawusenalendlala wawusenalamandla nangendlela owawuvuke ngayo nkathi uvuka ekseni ngo 8:30 wawusazizwa ngaleyo ndlela
Cha Nkosi enkantolo.
no my lord.
Now, Mohane has testified in this matter in this court, and he has testified that the reason why the car was stationary at the engine garage is because it encountered mechanical failure. What is your comment?
Kubufakazi bakhe abethulile kule nkantolo khane uthe imbangela yokuthi imoto ke lapha kula engine garage ingahambi ime ingoba imoto yayinenkinga. Uthini ke wena kulokho?
Ngiyaphikisana nalokho Nkosi enkantolo. Ngoba lo mgomezelo ngangishilo ukuthi ngicela umtshenti uyangiphosisa ukuthi imoto yayihamba igule endleleni.
I dispute that, my lord, because I even informed Mr. Mgomezulu to put it to him that I'm disputing the fact that his testimony that the vehicle had problems, mechanical problems.
And then that car was stationary for some period until either him, Mabena, or Jonathan phoned a mechanic that came and resolved that problem.
Uthi ke ifuthi imoto yema lapho ke isikhathi ke kwaze kwayinkathi la khona ke noba uyena uMabhena noJonathan baye bafonela ke umechanic ukuthi ke azobheka imoto.
Akekho umechanic owafika Nkosi enkantolo lapho.
No mechanic arrived there, my lord.
Now, just to wrap this point up, from 8:30 a.m. on the 18th of June 2020 to 2:30 a.m. the 19th June 2020, the police officers, Mabena, Mohane, that you were in custody of, did they give you food in that period from 8 a.m. until you were booked at the cells in Pretoria North?
Ukusuka ke ngalesiya sikhathi ukhishwa ngaso ke emaselini kwaku 8:30 isikhathi ekseni kwaze kwayoshaya ke u2:30 kusuku ke olulandelayo ingaba bakunikeza ukudla kulesiya sikhathi lesiya.
Nkosi enkantolo akaze ngithengele ukudla. Ngamuza na usatshela umkhala entshenti wayengithengela ukudla. Uzongithana kanjani ukudla kumele into uthiwavele sizwile ukuthi uyedelela.
My lord, I never bought a food, and I heard Sergeant Mohane when he testified about that. How were they going to buy food for me when it was they had told me that we heard that you are disrespectful?
Now we're going to, okay, before that, you've testified about the assault and torture at the dumping site. What was the condition of your clothing after those acts were perpetrated on you?
Sizwile ke usitshela ke uthi kule ndawo ke le uthi wabona khona ke itruck la ikuyitruck ke eyolahla khona ke umgqomo ke ukuthi ila kwashayelwa khona ke noma ke ohlukunyezwa khona manje ke impahla lezi owuyigqokile zazinjani ke ngenxa yalesimo yaloko kwakwenzeka khona lapho.
Nkosi enkantolo ngaphuma igazi emakhaleni ngikhishwa lento ababengithosha ngayo. Ngoba namanje usayitshela umkhulu angilokho ngimtshene njalo akangifunele iskipa sami kusayitshela Mabhena. Azange ngithole impendulo namanje.
My lord, I was bleeding my nostrils as a result of that object that was being used. I also made a request to Sergeant Mukhula. Yes, I made a request to Sergeant Mukhula to get my T-shirt from Mabhena. It was my pants, the T-shirt, as well as the white vest that I was wearing underneath.
Now, let us fast forward now to the incident at Krisani Baragwanath, where the motor vehicle you were traveling in says GPS unlocked. Do you perhaps have an idea or per your recollection what was happening, the reason why it said GPS unlocked at the stage?
Khona ke la khona imoto eyayise eKrisani Baragwana futhi ke ngokwalo mbiko walento abayibiza ngokuthi AVL kubhaliwe ke laphana ukuthi ke iGPS unlock ngendlela yakhe abayibhala ngayo ebhalwe ngayo laphana. Ungabe uyazi ukuthi kwakwenzekani nkathi ke imoto yayilapho eKrisani Baragwana?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo angizazi lezo zinto lokhuzami lezo zemoto.
No, I'm not familiar and I know nothing with regards to issues of vehicles.
Now, perhaps let me clarify it. I see that it's not clear to you. Did there come a time at Krisani Baragwanath Hospital where you picked somebody else that got into the Toyota Fortuner?
That question is leading.
As the court pleases, my lord, I'll rephrase. Evidence has been led in this court, and a version was put to Mabena, I'm sorry, to Mohani, that according to the instructions, you said that you picked up Colonel Rapadu at Christiani Baragwanath Hospital. Do you recall that version?
Kathi ke uSergeant Mukhane elana ke enkantolo ke watshelwa ke ukuthi ke okushiwoyo ke inkulumo ethi ke kwaxoshwa ke noma kwagitsheliswa uKolonel Rapadu khona ke esibhedlela eChrisani Baragwana. Uyakhumbula lokho?
Yebo ngiyakhumbula Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, I do recall, my lord.
Describe the circumstances relating to that incident.
Awusho ke ukuthi isimo nje ngokumayela nalokho kwenzekani.
Nkosi enkantolo. Mina oqala ngangazi ukuthi lapha kuphi. Lapha esafetha thatha khona ubaba lo wangena ke emontweni.
Firstly, my lord, I didn't know where that specific area was. The area where the gentleman who got into the vehicle was picked up.
Ngoba masifika lapha safika sami ngoba kwaphuma amatekisi la eminyango egate la khona la.
Because when we got there, my lord, we stood there, we were there for a while because taxis were driving out of there, getting out of the gate.
Masifika ke lapha Nkosi enkantolo bafona yena uMkhane noMabhena ngazi ukuthi bafone laba.
When we arrived there, my lord, then Mabena and Mukhane phoned. I didn't know who they were calling.
Proceed, sir.
Waqhamuka ke ubaba lo ogcineze lapha enkantolo Thawura Phatha nomama nengane.
And then the gentleman who ended up being here in court, that is now Mr. Rapadu, appeared together with a lady and a child.
Wafika wakhuluma nabo ke babekhuluma phandle noThemontweni.
He spoke to them and they were speaking outside, not in the vehicle.
Emveni ngalokho ngambona yena ubaba lo ekhipha ikhiyeni kumama lo wayeqhamuke naye.
Thereafter, I saw the gentleman taking out keys and giving them to the lady that he had appeared with.
Ubaba ke lo wayesengena ke emontweni lana ngoba ngangihleli ngemuva ngangihleli naye la yena ehlele emveni kaMkhane mina ngihlele emveni kaMabhena.
And then he got into the vehicle, my lord. I was seated, he was seated behind Mukhane and I was seated behind Mabena.
After you've picked up Colonel Rapadu, where did the car then leave that area?
Yasiyasuka ke imoto lapho senimgibelisile emotweni yasiyahamba imoto lapho.
Yeah, uyahamba ngiyazi indlela ukuthi eya kuphi.
Yes, my lord, it left. I don't know the route that it took as to where it was going.
And did there come a time when that car reached a particular destination?
Khona la eyayofika khona.
Yeah.
Ukhona la eyahamba yayoma khona.
Ikhona lapha ehamba yoma khona Nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, my lord, it did.
And now, with the background of this case, do you recall where that car stopped?
Usakhumbula ke ukuthi yahamba yayoma kule moto le.
The area now that you know now, as you testify, which area did it stop?
Zika ngithi manje sokumelana yiphi leyo ndawo yahamba yayoma kuyona ke.
Nkosi enkantolo imoto yahamba yizindlela engingayazi lapha yayihamba khona. Kodwa lapha yafika yama khona kwakunegate lapha. Igate nje eso kuna ibiyiwe le ndawo le. Igate yakona ibhale ukuthi Orlando ngoba ngangifike ngimekhetha ukuthi lapha ngema khona ngifike ngibuka ukuthi imoto inkulu.
My lord, the car traveled. Although I don't know the route that it took as to where it specifically it was traveling, but where it reached or the final destination, there was a gate, and the place is fenced. And as I looked at the gate, it was written Orlando because I made sure wherever a vehicle stopped, I would check as to where that is.
If I may stop you there, Mr. Ntanzi, the evidence of Mohani is that morning, the instruction from Colonel Gininda was for them to deviate from taking you to Phosphorus Match Court to take you to Moroka Police Station to meet Colonel Rapadu for the purposes of obtaining a statement from you. Did you recall that evidence being set in this court?
Kunobufakazi ke obethula phambi kwale nkantolo bakhe ke uSergeant Mukhane ukuthi ke ekukhulumiseni kanye naye uBrigadier Gininda wabatshela ukuthi abangabusaqhubeka ke baye bakhambise bakuse ePhosphorus enkantolo kodwa abahambe nawo baye nawe eMoroka ku Colonel Rapadu. Uyakhumbula uMkhane esho kanjalo? Ngenhloso yokuthi ke uKolonel Rapadu ayothatha istatement kuwena. Uyamkhumbula uMkhane esho kanjalo?
ngiyamkhumbula ngoba kwakusho umkhane.
I remember because it was said by Mkhane.
Now, that morning, according to his evidence, Mohani, is that you were taken to Colonel Rapadu for that purpose of obtaining a statement. Did the car go to Moroka police station that morning?
Ufakazi bakhe ushilo ke uMkhane ukuthi wathathwa ke wahanjiswa waya eMoroka ngenhloso yokuthi ke uKolonel Rapadu uthatha istatement kuwena ke. Ngabe wasiwa yini eMoroka ngalelalanga?
Kosenkantolo. Ngiyile police station kwenye police station kwaba ngahanjiswa khona ngumkhane ekuseni.
I did go to a police station where I was taken to by Mkhane in the morning.
Ngafika wapaka imoto lapha ngangithi kwakunabantu abavuma ingoma ngathi une strike kanyana.
And upon arrival there, he parked the vehicle where earlier on said that there were some people that looked like they were engaged in a strike or demonstration.
Masifika khona waphuma umkhane no Sergeant Mabena ngashika nabo Jonathan laba babengigadile.
When we got there, Mabena and Mkhane got out and I remained with the likes of Jonathan who were looking after me.
What happened next?
Mabehambile isikhathinyana nje babuya babuye sahlala emotweni khona la nabo la.
And
Bevule ilokhozi hithale hleli lapha.
they after a while they came back and we sat there for a while and they had switched their heater on.
Emveni kwesikhathi ngayibona imoto iphuma ke ngingayazi ukuthi yaphi yazaphuma imoto kwahanjiwa futhi.
After a while the car then drove out. I don't know where they were going to, but the cars left.
Now, at that stage, when the car arrived, we now know that it's Moroka police station. It was there until 11:47. Did a statement to Colonel Rapadu?
The witness never said that he was at Morocco. He said he was in a certain place that he doesn't know.
Let me rephrase it, Manat. At that particular police station that you now say you didn't know at the time that this was Moroka, did Colonel Rapadu take a statement from you?
Kule ndawo ke noma kule police station lena ke oyishilo ukuthi awungayazi ke ingaba uKolonel Rapadu kune statement awasithatha yini kuwena?
Cha nkosenkantolo.
No, my lord.
And angizange ngimbone ekseni. Ngimbone esikhathi ngiqala ukumbona ngena kimi emontweni lesisibhedlela lapha bamthatha khona.
And I did not see him there, my lord. I only saw him at the hospital where they picked him up there.
Now, evidence led in this court.
Sorry, my lord.
Sorry.
I don't know whether it was missed by the state or the defense because the witness said he looked at the gate and he saw it was written Orlando. I don't know whether they missed it.
No, I'll come to that. I'm the one that interrupted the witness. Sorry, Mr. Jonas. Now, evidence led in this court is that from 11:47, the car then travels to Foslora's court, and according to the testimony of Mabena, I'm sorry, I keep on saying Mabena, Mohani, is that the purpose was to take you to Foslora's court for the purposes of appearances on the Nongoma murder case and the Foslora's drug case. What's your comment?
Ufakazi bakhe ke uMkhane uthe inhloso ke yokuthatha ke kwakuthi ke uye enkantolo eFosloras la uyozobingelela khona ke imanje uyibingelelela icala ke la kwaNongoma lokubulala kanye futhi ke drugs.
Yes.
Kanye futhi neledakamizwa lase Fosloras.
Kosenkantolo umkhane wangithatha wangisa lapha engisa khona ngangazi nokuthi court ngoba akaze ngene kulo court le. Ngangisemotweni phandle akaze ngene selena secourt wangishiya emotweni bangigada uJonathan wangena nefayela elibrown wangena ngaphakathi waphindwa buya wangithola emotweni kwaphindwa kwahanjiwa akaze ngiyibona ukuthi iqatolo olini mina.
My lord, Sergeant to a place I didn't know that it was a court because I never went inside. He alighted from the vehicle, left me in the vehicle with the likes of Jonathan, went out with a brown file, and he came back and we left again. I never went inside there.
Ngoba nomuntu lo oweza kimi ephethe ibhuku weza wangilunguza so wathi ngubonga Ntanzi ngathi mina yebo baba yebo wajika nebhuku lela liphethwe wabuyela phakathi akaze ngiphume emontweni kosenkantolo.
Even the person that came to me, my lord, who had a book in his hand, looked at the book and asked me, are you Bongani Ntanzi? I then confirmed and then he went back in. I never got out of the vehicle.
Now, evidence further given by Mohani is that From Fosloras, they then, Fosloras Magistrates Court, they then drove back again to Moroka Police Station because Mabena had forgotten his memory stick and keys at some office in the police station. What is your comment?
Obunye ufakazi ke abethuleke ukuthi waphoqeleka ke ukuthi sebehambile noma senihambileke babuyeleke khona lapho nanjengoba uMabhena wayekhohle khona lapho ke ikhiye zakhe.
Cha
kule
Nkosi
police station.
enkantolo akulona iqiniso le.
No, my lord, that's not the truth.
Now, could you take it from the time now when you return to Moroka Police Station where the car shows to AVL? It was stationary for 2 hours at Moroka Police Station on the afternoon of the 19th of July 2020. I mean, not 19th of June 2020, I'm sorry.
Uma sesingabuyela ke manje sehlumuva ke kunala khona ke iVKL noma umbiko loyana ke uchaza ukuthi imoto ihamba kuphi ushoyo khona ke ukuthi imoto yayimileke isikhathi esingangamahora amabili.
What happened now at Moroka at that time?
Khona ke epolice station yaseMoroka isho ke ukuthi kwenzekani ngalesiya sikhathi lesiya eMoroka imoto imile lapha lamahora amabili.
Nkosi enkantolo lapho engangimkhona mina lapho engaqala ngabona khona igate lelibhala ukuthi Orlando. Kwamiwa isikhathi la khona uraphathe khona.
My lord, where the car was parked and where I had seen where the gate was written Orlando, I was assaulted there in the presence of Rapadu.
Ngishawe Nkosi enkantolo uPrakathi gininde khona naye lapha ngangisho khona ehlele emveni elekhuze nesitulo lekhuze nemoto ibhuthile yangemuva ngoba ubaba lo wayebhala angimazi wayebhala ukuthi ngoba wayephethe ne-ID number yami.
And I was being assaulted, my lord. Brigadier Kinenda was seated there at the back of the vehicle, seated at the boot of the vehicle. The gentleman that was writing, he was also writing, but I don't know what he was writing. He was also in possession of my identity document.
Now let's pause and can you describe the area where this assault occurred at Orlando?
How you show ke le ndawo lena ewawushayelwa kuyona ke eOrlando?
Nkosi enkantolo lapha uyehla umgwaqo uyajika la ufesana negate uyaphela.
My lord, you go down the road, and as it takes a curve, and then it faces a gate, and that is now the end of the road. Yebo.
Indawo ebiye ngaphakathi ngale khona ama-ATM ngale yizo ngingabonanga noma right noma njani kodwa akhona ama-ATM athi elahliwa leya kubiyiwe street lapha.
It's a place that is fenced, my lord. On the other side, there are ATMs. I'm not able to tell whether there were ATMs that were functioning or not.
Ngapha ngemuva kwami kugretiwe kunendudumo ebekiwe njengathi igcwele amaphepha lapho kuyabona ukuthi kuyashiswa nokushiswa nje izinto mhlawumbe amaphepha lapho.
And then just right behind me, it's a grated area. You can see that there are some documents there. There's some sort of some documents. I don't know whether they are being bent. Yeah.
Ngoba mangifika lapho ngafika ngakhishwa umabhene emotweni umkhana akazakhishwe akazange aphume emotweni.
When I got there, it is Mabena who took me out of the vehicle. Mohane never took me out of the vehicle.
Naye ubaba lo waphuma ephethe leli file elibrown eliphethe leli.
Umuthi ubaba lo?
Ubaba lo uzezo testify ubaba lo Rapatu.
Okay. And the gentleman that is now Mr. Rapatu came out of the vehicle.
Now,
he was having carrying an envelope of this size, my lord.
Now, just for clarification purposes, at that place, the Toyota Fortuner that we were transported in, was it the only car that traveled to that locality?
Le ndawo okhuluma ngayo iToyota Fortuner iyona kuphela imoto eyahamba yaya.
Cha zazikhona zoJonathan anti babe khona la Nkosi enkantolo.
No, the cars that were driven by Jonathan were also there.
So it was the Toyota Fortuner. Was Jonathan driving the GTI VW motor vehicle that you previously referred to?
Wayehamba ngeGTI uJonathan.
uJonathan hamba ngeGTI le hardbody angimazi lo wayedriver na.
Yes, he was driving the GTI. I don't know the person that was the driver
But
of the hard body.
wayenomzimba nje kahle.
But it was a well-built person.
Now proceed. What transpired at the place?
Qhubeka ke.
Masifika lapho kwaqhamuka yena kuBratick nento ehamba nayo usayitsheni Mkhulu.
Whilst there, Brigadier Kinenda arrived in the company of Sergeant Mukhula.
Nala ke lo baba lo ama class band engalazi igama lakhe.
as well as the gentleman with the name I don't know.
bafike ke mabefika la ugcina indawo ezake ngoba abezanga bakuraphathwa esahleli phansi ebuka lezi zinto ayibuka la ugcina indawo ezake wangibuza manje awufuni ukukhuluma iqiniso na.
Kininda then approached me. Rapati was still there looking at whatever that is that he was looking at. Kininda asked me, are you still not willing to tell the truth?
Now, before Brigadier Gininda and Sergeant Mohola arrived at that place, was anything done to you physically by the police officers who came in the Toyota Fortuner, the hard body, and the GTI motor vehicle?
Ngaphambi kokuthi ke uBrigadier Gininda kanye naye uSergeant Mohola bafike laphayana amaphoyisa lana wona ayehamba ngeFortuner iGT kanye nehard body ikhona yini into abayenza kuwena?
Yiko phela inkosi enkantolo ukuthi ngiyoshaya.
Ophinde?
Ngithi ukuthi ngiyoshaya. Ukuthi ngivuma ukuthi kuthiwa mangisayina lento engafuni ukuyisayina.
Yes, my lord, because I had been taken there to be assaulted. Hence, I then had to sign this document that I was told to sign.
And who assaulted you?
Ushayoban,
Uyobuthelezi
Butelezi,
lo ngimshotho nomzimba wena wayengibambe la khona ukuthi ngingakhona ukumuva ngemuva mangimile
the
ngibambe
one that I
ngokuthelezi ngibambe
described
ngapha.
to be well built because he was holding me on my arms so as for me not to be able to move.
Who else?
Uplastiki wawukushitshana yena uJonathan naye lo mabhena.
The plastic, it would be changed between Mabena and Jonathan.
Let me pause it here. When you refer to those two names, earlier on you said you wish God should Ababusise way two, that is Jonathan and Bena. Why would God busisa your tormentors?
Ushilo ngaphambilini ke uma ukhuluma ukuthi ke afisa ukuthi uNkulunkulu angababusisa manje kungani ke ungafisela ukuthi uNkulunkulu abantu ababekuhlukumeza ukuthi ababusise?
Ukuthi inkosi enkantolo ento abayenza kimi yangiphatha kabuhlungu.
It is because, my lord, what sorry they did to me, it hurt me very much.
Ngoba ngisho umalume engikhule phansi kwakhe akaze ngibeke isandla wayengishanje ngomfana ngishayile inkomo ngikhule lapho kugada khona inkomo.
Even my uncle, my lord, who raised me, he had never beaten me to such an extent. It was only a kind of a beating where I had done something wrong because I grew up in an area where one would be looking after cattle.
Ngisho obhuti imbala ubhuti akaze ngibeke isandla. Ubhuti uyangibonisa ekhuluma nami.
Even my
Ingakho ngithi
brother
nje
had never assaulted me. When I am wrong, my brother would then show me the way.
ingakho nje namanje phambi kwenkosi enkantolo ngithi lapha lele khona lo Jonathan lapha khona uNkulunkulu ambusise.
Hence, I'm saying that wherever he is resting and even wherever Jonathan is, that may God bless them.
Now let's take it to that area now in Orlando where you are being, sorry, just for clarification, what were they using to assault you?
Babesebenzisani ukukushaya?
Okuyiyona lento inkosi enkantolo lesenza uplastiki nalento le yethoshe.
The plastic that I referred to, as well as this object, the torch object, my lord.
And earlier on you testified that when this torch device was used, water was poured on you. Was water also poured on you on the 19th of June at that place in Orlando?
Ushilo ke ukuthi inkathi besebenzisa yona le yanto ke babekuthela nangamanzi ngazo i19 ke inkathi ke senise Orlando ke manje ngaba nalapho bakuthela ngamanzi.
Eza naye lo Jonathan amanzi.
Jonathan is the one who came with the water.
Now take it from there. You testified that Brigadier Gininda and Sergeant Mohola arrived. What then transpired?
Shilo ke ukuthi kwase kufika uBrigadier Gininda naye uSergeant Mohola kwase kwenzekani ke?
Angithi konto mangishuphiwe. Mayeza bayangiyeka afika akhulume nami ethi namanje awufuna ukukhuluma iqiniso ngiyakuyeka mina bekubulala.
When I'm being choked, when he approaches, they would then stop and then he would ask me, are you still not willing to talk? And I would just let them kill you.
Ngimtshela kodwa akulungile akenze into ayibonayo.
I would then say, it's okay, do as you please.
What then
Ngoba
transpired?
bayenza into ayibona ukuthi angisanisa amaphepha ngenkani.
And he did as it pleases him or it pleased him because he forcefully made me to sign documents.
Did you sign documents then at that place?
Wasiwasayina amaphepha.
Ngicela ngisalile inkosi enkantolo ngizama ukuyilamulela. Ayikho into engangayenza. Ngoba
I
akekho
ended-
umuntu wangidefendela umhani wayephenduka ngathi umfana omncane futhi wayengeke akwazi ukusongikhulumela la engangishawa khona.
I ended up signing just to protect myself. I couldn't do, and then no one was protecting me. Mukhana would just ended up like a small boy, and he couldn't just come and protect me or defend me.
Now, just for clarification purposes, you've already testified that you were not familiar with Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital. Were you familiar with Orlando as a place? Have you been there?
Ushilo ukuthi isibhedlela lesiBarakwana ke indawo ongayazi kodwa iOrlando yona le ndawo ke yona indawo owawujwayele noma owawuyazi.
Cha Nkosi enkantolo la ngiyazi mina ngabona ibhodi kuphela malibhala ukuthi Orlando ufike ngibona into la kubhala ukuthi bese ngithulela.
No, my lord, I wasn't familiar with the place. I only saw the writing on the board that it was Orlando. I just saw that writing and then I would keep quiet.
And prior to the 19th of June 2020, had you previously been to Moroka police station before?
Ngaphambi kwalelo langa 19 June 2020 wake waya yini ngaphambilini eMoroka police station?
Cha ngangiqala Nkosi enkantolo.
No, it was the first time, my lord.
And before you signed the document that you've just said that you signed now, how long did that assault occur at that place in Orlando?
Ngaphambi kokuthi usayinele lapha ukuthi walisayina ke ukushaywa lokhu kwathatha isikhathi esingakanani lapha yaye Orlando ukuthi bakushaya isikhathi esingakanani?
Eish Nkosi enkantolo laphana angengikazi uqala isikhathi.
I wouldn't be able to estimate the time, my lord. Yeah.
Umuntu mayenza lento ayenza ayaphinde akhiphe iplastic akhulume nawe akhuluma kuma ngafuna uphendula phinde akafuna ukukhuluma ngeke ngikwazi ukumeshina isikhathi Nkosi enkantolo.
Because the person would be doing whatever it is that he's doing, take out the plastic and then speak to you, and if you don't want to talk, and then would then proceed. So I won't be able to tell the time.
Now, Genin testified in this case to say that it is not truth that he was there on the 19th and he never drove a white BMW to that place.
Ubufakazi bakhe ke abethule lana ku Brigadier Gininda uthe akakazaye kule ndawo futhi akaza ashayeleke iBMW emhlo.
Lokho mina ngiyamphikisa Nkosi enkantolo.
I dispute that, my lord.
Ngoba nguye ozazi imoto zakhe ukuthi zingaphi mina ngizazi imoto zakhe.
He's the one who knows the number of cars that he has. I don't know the number of his cars.
Now, the testimony of Mohane, like I told you before, is that he transported you, no, but with travested, mislead that. Now, according to Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu, he testified that he started taking a statement from you at around 7:30 at Moroka police station, 7:30 in the morning on the 19th of June 2020.
Ngobufakazi bakhe ke uKenel Raphandu uthi ke isikhathi ke aqala ngaso ukuthi athathe istatement kuwena ke ngazo i19 zika June 2020 kwaku7 ekseni.
Ngiyaphikisana nalowo nto Nkosi enkantolo ngoba baba uMgomezulu ngamtshela ngathi akamtshene ukuthi akulona iqiniso lelo. Mina ngimbona emini, angimbonanga ekuseni sahlele emotweni ngaze ngiphume emotweni.
I dispute that, my lord. I even informed Mr. Mgomezulu to put it to him that what he's saying is not true, that I only saw it the day and not in the morning. In the morning I was in the vehicle, I never got out of the vehicle.
Furthermore, Colonel Rapadu testified that he completed statement at 11:47 a.m.
Uthi ke isikhathi aqeda ngaso ke kwakunje ngaphambi kokuthi kushayeke u12 emini 11:47 uthi ke isikhathi nanjengoba athi waqala ngo7:30 wase eqeda ke ngo11:47 isikhathi.
Cha iphutha lelo Nkosi enkantolo.
No, that's a mistake, my lord.
And furthermore, Colonel Rapadu testified that he completed the pro forma in the following way. He was asking you questions and you were giving replies. Do you recall the process?
Ushilo ke nendlela ke enza ngayo uthi wayikubuza ke imibuzo ubese uyaphendula ke wena.
Akulona iqiniso lelo Nkosi enkantolo ngoba umuntu mayephethe ID number yakho yini azongibuza.
That's not true, my lord, because when someone has got your ID number, what is it that that person is going to ask you?
My lord, at this stage, I'm going to ask that the witness be furnished with Exhibit HH, which is the pro forma that was completed by Colonel Rapadu. notes. Ocean, it's got notes. It's got notes. But as they are looking for that, there are personal details. Let me start at the top. It says confession and admission, and then the date that he completes, it's the 19th of June 2020. The time noted is 6:50. That was 0650 in the morning, and the designation of the officer is Colonel Gininda, to say that he wants a statement to be obtained from Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi, who wants to make a statement on a First Glorious Police Station, that's number 63610 of 2014, a charge of murder. The language spoken is isiZulu, and is currently held at the Pretoria North Police Station. And then the time of 7:30, according to his testimony, it's here. He starts noting the statement down, and the date is the 19th of June 2020. Your name is there as a witness. I mean, the witness suspect, Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi. Your residential address, 125 Freedom Park, Phase 2, Rustenburg. Telephone number known, cell phone number known. Work address, you are a contractor, your identification, and then his designation and names are there. That's on page 1.
Maqala lana ke sibheka ke lana imininingwane ke lena ebhaliwe laphana ke idate ke nge-19 kuJune 2020 isikhathi ke imizuzu ngaphambi nje ukuthi kushaye ke ihora lesikhombisa u10 to 07 6:50 uKenneth Gininda amagama akho Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi ofuna ofisa ukwenza istatement ipolice station Foslorasi babhalwe ke inamba ke iyeqala u63610 2014 icala luthweswayo ukubulala ulimi olukhulunywa umsola isiZulu ipolice station Pretoria North isikhathi esibhaliwe lapha yana qala ngaso ubhala ke u7:30 nge-19 June 2020 bhala igama lakho Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi ikheli lakho u3125 Freedom Park Phase 2 eRustenburg inamba ke yocingo ayibhaliwe nokuthi usebenza kuphi ke futhi ukuthi ucontractor ne-ID number na ngamagama akho abhaliwe naye ke lapha ezansi ulapha.
And he further testified that the person that handed you over to him was Jonathan from EMPD SWAT Division.
Washo ke nokuthi ke umuntu okuyena ke owakuletha kuyena kwakuyena ke uJonathan osebenzela yona ke EMPD.
Now, his testimony before we dwell onto Exhibit HH is that before he completed this form, he warned you of your constitutional rights, and for brevity's sake, those constitutional rights are the ones that I summarized for you before. The right to remain silent, the consequences of not remaining silent, the right to your own attorney or legal aid, assistance or state expense attorney, the right not to incriminate yourself, the right not to make, the right to challenge the legality of your detention or incarceration. Did he advise you before he started completing this?
Ngaphambilini kokuthi ke siqhubekeke naleli phepha leli ke ushilo ke kubufakazi bakhe ukuthi ke wabe esekuxwayisa ke ngamalungelo akho onawo masikhuluma ke ngamalungelo ila bengingachazela wona ke ngaphambilini ilungelo lokuphula ungasho lutho ilungelo nokuthi futhi imiphumela noma umphumela wokuthi ukhulume noma ke ungathuli ukuthi ungayini nokuthi futhi ke ungayini isho noma oyikhuluma ingasetshenziswa njengobufakazi ilungelo lokuthi uyitholele ummeli uma kuukuthi awunayo imali okhokhela ummeli wenzeke isicelo uzokutholela ummeli. Ingaba lawo malungelo lawo amalungelo yini axwayisa ngawo ngaphambilini kokuthi niqhubeke?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo neqiniso nje lemhlophe phambi kwakho. Lobo balona mina ngizange ngikhulume naye.
No, my lord, just being honest, speaking honestly before this court, I never spoke to this gentleman.
Ngale iphepha lele ngilibona libhalwa ngalo ngoba kuba wayikhuluma nami angizomtshela inamba yami namanje mina ngayibiza ngekhanda phambi kwenkosi enkantolo angiwakhohliwe amanamba ami.
If he was, with regard to this document, if he had asked me for my number, I would have told him my number because I can still, even now, remember my number.
Ngoba namanje engisho ukuthi into ayibhalela yena into ayibone kwi-ID number yami nephepha leli abathathe eRustenburg endlini yami befuna ukubona athi ufuna ukubona ngempela ngiyasebenza la.
Because it's written here, my lord, it's information that he took from my identity document, as well as the document that they got from Rustenburg when they wanted to confirm as to whether was I working there.
Rap Party was also at Rustenburg.
Uma ngikuzwa kahle uthi ubaba uRaphathu naye wayeyile Rustenburg.
Cha iphepha lathatha uMabhena endlini nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord, the person that took the document from my house was Mabena.
And gave it to Rap Party. That's evidence.
Wayinika uKen Raphathu.
Wanika nje abana kubhala ukuthi contract.
Sir, did he give it to Rap Party? That's what I want to know.
Wamnika uRaphathu.
Yeah, unzothi wamnika nkosi enkantolo.
Yes, I would say he gave it to him.
So let's clarify that point. At Orlando, did you see Mabena giving Colonel Raphathu a particular document?
Orlando wambona yini uMabena enikezela ngephepha elithize elinikeza uKolonel Raphathu.
Wamnika ifayela nkosi enkantolo.
Gave him a file.
Yonke into yayiphakathi la. Ngoba wadotsa amaphepha nowabeka la.
Everything was inside there because he just took out documents and placed them here.
Ngoba nalapha ehlele emotweni ngiyabona amaphepha we-ID. ID wayepresse ngesandla so.
Because as he was seated
So
in the
i-ID
vehicle,
ngiyayibona la kuye.
I could see the documents, even the identity document, I could see it because he had pressed it with his hand.
Now, let's go to the pro forma. We've covered with regard to rights up to, let's do 4.2 of the pro forma on page 2. At page 2, the question is, do you wish to contact a legal practitioner of your own choice or apply for legal aid before you proceed with the statement?
Kunombuzo lana ke uthi uyafisa yini ukuthi ke uxhumane nommeli ummeli ke oqoqa noma ozoqoqa wena noma ke wenzeke isicelo sokuthi utholeke ummeli otholakala enkantolo ngaphambilini kokuthi siqhubeke ngale statement.
Was this question asked of you by Colonel Raphathu?
Ngabe uKolonel Raphathu wabuza yini lo mbuzo?
Cha nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
The answer recorded in response to that is no.
Impendulo ebhalwe la ithi cha.
Did you respond like that?
Waphendula ngale ndlela?
Hayi ngiqala ukubona la mina.
No, I'm seeing it for the first time here.
Let's go to 4.3. It says, do you have the name of a legal practitioner in brackets attorney of your own choice, of your choice, that I can call now?
Umbuzo landelayo ke uthi kunalo yini igama sorry lalo mmeli noma ke lo mmeli oqokwe wena engingaxhumana naye njengamanje.
Was this question posed to you by Colonel Raphathu?
uKolonel Raphathu wakubuza ngani wakubuza yini lo mbuzo?
Cha nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
Now, the answer given there is that I do not have any lawyer and I don't want the use of the attorney, neither the legal aid board. I'm giving freely statement. Did you give this answer?
Impendulo ebhalwe lana ithi ke anginaye ummeli futhi ke angifuni ukuthi ngisebenzise ummeli noma kuummeli ke wombuso noma ke illegal aid lesi ngisinika mina ngokwami ngikhululekile.
Ngisasho namanje phambi kwenkosi enkantolo ukuthi akazange ngibuze le mbuzo lo mina.
I'm still saying before this court that he never asked me these questions.
And then let's go to paragraph 5. He says, on advice, he says, he then gives the following answers to the question above. The content and the object of every question has been explained to him. Do you understand the advice given to you at 5 of the justice of the peace? You say the answer is, and I'm not saying it's your answer, it says, yes, I'm willing to give a statement without any legal practitioner. Was this question posed to you?
Lana ke wase enikeza ngale impendulo ezilandelayo kule mibuzo engaphezulu. Futhi ke nokuthi ke umbuzo ngawodwa usho ukuthini lokho wachazelwa. Ingabe lesixwayiso ingabe lokucetshiswa lokhu ke kulana ke uyakuzwa yini okutshelwa ke iphoyisa leli ke impendulo ke uthi uyayifunda ummeli akasho ukuthi impendulo eyakhishwa kuwena noma ebuya kuwena kodwa uyayifunda. Impendulo ithi yebo ngiyimisele ukunikeza ngestatement ngaphandle meli.
Cha Nkosi enkantolo iphutha.
No, my lord, that's a mistake.
And at question 6, it says, do you still continue, do you still wish to continue making a statement?
Bese kuthi ke laphayana ke ku number 6 ithi noma umbuzo uthi usafisa yini ukuqhubeka ukwenza istatimende.
And the answer recorded there is yes, I am continuing.
Impendulo ke ebhaliwe lana ithi yebo ngiyaqhubeka.
First of all, was this question posed to you, and is this the answer that you gave?
Okokuqala umbuzo lona wawubuzwa yini futhi ke ingabe impendulo lena owayinikeza?
Cha Nkosi enkantolo ngiyazi.
No, my lord, I don't know it.
Let's go to 7. It says, have you been assaulted or threatened by any person in order to influence you to come and make this statement? Was this question posed to you?
Umbuzo landelayo ke uthi washaywa yini noma wasatshiswa noma iwuphi umuntu ngenhloso yokugqugquzela ukuthi uze kumina uzokwenza lesi statement.
Cha akazange ngibuze Nkosi enkantolo umbuzo.
No, this question was never asked, my lord.
Mhlaba waye khona nje.
Because when I was assaulted, he was there.
And then question 7.1, it says, if so, referring to the assault or the threat emanating from the question before, it says, if so, by whom were you assaulted and when, how, and where did it occur? And the notation there is note N/A, which sometimes says not applicable, but I don't know in this case, what does it say?
Lo mbuzo ke olandelayo u7.1 usaqhubeka ke ukusuka kulo mbuzo ongaphambili ukuthi uma kuukuthi ushayiwe noma washaywa ushaywa ubani ushayelwa kuphi nendawo kanjani futhi lokho ke kwenzeka kuphi.
Was this posed to you and did you not comment, because it seems like there was no comment here?
Ingabe wawubuza yini lo mbuzo mhlawumbe wona ke awaphendula noma awanikeza ngempendulo ngoba bukeke ngathi ke akunampendulo eyabakhona la.
Akaze ngibuze le mbuzo la Nkosi enkantolo.
No, I was never asked these questions, my lord.
And at 7.2, the question is, was this assault reported, and if so, to whom and when? Was this question asked of you by Colonel Rapadu?
Nokuthi ke lokushaywa lokhu wabika yini noma washo ke khona yini wambikela ke uma kuukuthi kunjalo wabikela bani nini?
Nkosi enkantolo ngangizombikela kanjani umuntu ekhona ebona phambi kwakhe la.
My lord, how was I going to report to someone who was there, who could see?
And then question 8, it says, were you in any way influenced or encouraged by any person to make a statement? Was this posed to you?
Olandelayo ke ingaba ikhona yini indlela ekuye kwaba nomuntu noma kwaba nomthelela noma wagqugquzelwa umuntu nje thizeni ukuthi uzokwenza le statement lesi?
Was this asked of you?
Wawubuzwa lo mbuzo lona?
No Nkosi enkantolo.
No, my lord.
At question 9, it says, have any promises been made to you by any person if you should make a statement? Was this question asked of you?
Olandelayo ke umbuzo uthi kunezithembiso yini ezenziwa kuwena noma yimuphi umuntu uma kuukuthi uze uzokwenza le statement lesi?
Was it asked of you?
Wawubuzwa lo mbuzo lo?
Cha akaze ngidibana na Nkosi enkantolo.
No, I've never came across it, my lord.
And the recorded answer there is no.
Impendulo ebhaliwe lana ithi cha.
Did you make that reply?
Waphendula ngaleyo ndlela?
Cha akaze ngibuza nokubuza nje.
No, I wasn't even asked.
Let's go to question 10. It says, do you expect benefits if you make a statement? Was this question asked of you?
Bese uma sesiya jumpa ke manje siya ku 10 ithi ingabe kunenzuzo yini oyilindele uma kuukuthi wenza istatement?
Did Colonel Rapadu ask you this question?
Wakubuza lo mbuzo?
Cha Nkosi enkulu.
No, my lord.
Then we go to 11. It says, have you at any stage in the past made a statement, whether orally or in writing, to any person concerning the incident? Was this question posed of you?
Bese siya ke la ekubuzwa khona ke ukuthi ingabe ngaphambilini wake wasenza yini istatement noma kuukuthi ngokukhuluma noma ke ngokubhala phansi kumuntu noma komunye umuntu ngokumayela nalesi sigameko lesi.
And
Uyabuza ukuthi ukhona umuntu ngaphambilini owake wenza ke na ke istatement mayela nalesi sigameko. Usho kanjalo lo mbuzo?
Akaze ngibuziwe lo mbuzo lo.
I was never asked this question, my lord.
And we go to 12. And the question is, were you arrested, and was this question asked of you?
U12 uthi ke yena ke waboshwa yini? Wawubuza lo mbuzo?
Ngaboshwa yini?
Waboshwa yini?
Khumbula imbuzo mina.
I don't recall him asking, my lord.
And the notated or the recorded answer there is yes. Did you provide this reply?
Impendulo ebhaliwe ke ithi yebo. Wanikeza ngale impendulo?
Cha angikwazi.
No.
And at 13, the question is, do you have any injuries? And if so, how and where they sustained?
Bese kuthi ku13 yabuza ulimele yini? Uma kunjalo kanjani? Nini?
Was this question asked of you?
Wawubuza lo mbuzo?
Cha Nkosi enkulu.
No, my lord.
The recorded answer there is no. Did you provide that answer?
Impendulo ebhaliwe ke la ithi cha. Ingabe wanikeza ngale impendulo wena?
Hayi ngiyayiqala Nkosi enkulu.
No, my lord. I'm saying it for the first time.
Then we quickly go to 15, which the question is, do you still wish to make a statement? Was this question asked of you?
Bese siyajompa ka siya ku 15 uthi usafisa yini ukuqhubeka ukwenza istatement?
Was this posed of you?
Wabuza?
Cha akaze ngibuzwe.
No, I've never been asked.
And the recorded answer there is a yes. Did you give that answer?
Impendulo ebhaliwe ke ithi yebo. Ingabe wanikeza yini ngale impendulo?
Cha Nkosi enkulu.
No, my lord.
Then we'll jump the redacted part. 16, the question is, are you at this moment under the influence of any liquor or drugs? Was this question posed of you?
Olandelayo ke umbuzo uthi ke ingabe njengamanje ke mhlambe usebenzise utshwala noma idakamizwa yini? Wawubuzwa yini lo mbuzo?
Cha Nkosi enkulu.
No, my lord.
And then let me read the whole of 16.1, observation of the justice of the peace, and it goes to 17. Since it appears that the deponent 17.1 is in his sound, sober senses, 17.2 had not been unduly influenced thereto, understands his rights as prescribed by Section 35 of the Final Constitution, freely and voluntarily wishes to make a statement, he is informed that he may now proceed. On completing the statement, it is read to the deponent. He is also given the opportunity of reading the statement himself and of changing the statement if he seems it necessary. Note down whether he also reads through the statement and the answer given is a yes.
Lana ke zoqala khona lana ke ku 16.1 ukuthi ke nanje ngoba yena ke ethi ke waye kanye nawe ehlezi nawe ukuthi yena ke yini ayibona noma uma ekubhekile ke ubonani bese kubhaliwe ke lana nanje ngoba kubukeka ke ukuthi lona ke onikeza ngaso istatement ke use ngathi ke akukho ke okuphazamisile ngoma amagama akekho ngaphansi akasebenzisanga idakamizwa noma ke utshwala nanjengoba futhi ke esho ke futhi ukuthi akubanga nomthelela ongemuhle oholele ekuthini ke azokwenza lokhu futhi namalungelo akhe ke uyawezwa uyawalandela nanjengoba ebhaliwe ke kuona umthetho sisekelo ngaphansi kwakhe usection 35 futhi ke ekwenza lokhu ke ekhululekile kuphuma kuyena ukuthi ke enze istatement lesi useyatshelwa ke ukuthi usengaqhubeka ke manje sesiqediwe ke ukubhalwa istatement uyasifundelwa futhi naye ke anikezwe nethuba ke lokuthi ayifundele futhi ke noma ukuthi kukhona la afuna ukuthi afisa ukuthi ashintshe khona akwenzeke lokho uma ebona isidingo sikhona isho ke uma kuukuthi usifundile istatement waseyabhala lapha yana ke yebo.
Did you read through this statement, sir?
Ingabe istatement lesi wasifunda yini wena?
Cha nkosenkantolo angaphatha ngikwazi ukufunda isilungu.
No my lord, I can't read English.
What is your highest level of education, sir?
Esikoleni wafunda waqedela kuphi noma wafica kuphi?
Aqedanga ngagcina 18 ngaphuma.
Standard 8.
Yeah.
I didn't complete my school, my lord. I went up to standard 8.
And were at this, because you said were they interpreted to you, these questions up to 18.1?
Lembuzo lena ke ingaba wayihunyushelwa yini?
Cha mina nkosenkantolo kwayona lento le ngiyibona isikhathi kuthiwa ngisayine mina ngisayiniswa ngenkani. Angiyazi ukuthi ayibhala ukuthini phakathi.
No my lord, the only time I saw this was when I was being forced to sign it. As to what was contained or written in there, I didn't know.
Did Colonel Rapadu read back the statement to you?
Ingabe uKenel Rapadu esesibhalileke istatement leso seqedileke wakufundela yini?
Cha nkosenkantolo. Azange ngifundele next.
No my lord, he did not read anything back to me.
And at the time, Rapadu was noting what he called are responses that are coming from you. Did he show you, each time the question was asked, did he show you what he was writing as the responses coming from you?
Nanjengoba ke uKenel Rapadu wayebhala phansi ke le impendulo athi yena ke impendulo ezazibuza zibuya kuwena, ingabe wayikutshengisa yini ke uma ebhala athi ke naku engikubhalayo ngibhala lento oqeda uyisho?
Nkosenkantolo.
No my lord, that's not the case.
Now, sir, sitting here and testifying in court, was this document completed in your presence?
Ngaba le document noma le phepha leli ke uma libhala ligcwaliswa ke kwaze kwayo basegcineni ke kwenziwa lo